What's up, y'all? This is Mara Juno, and you might know me from World of Warcraft as Illyria Windrunner or the Walking Dead game as Krista, among a few others. And you're listening to the man, the legend, the Scott Clark, and the Gaming Outsider.
Hey there, Gaming Outsiders. On this week's episode, Zack, Alyssa, and I share our most embarrassing DLC purchases we've made over the years. In news, there was a ton of indie games announced at the III Interactive Showcase this past week. And as for new games, I finally checked out Pepper Grinder. Alyssa played a game called Dr. Cat, and Sean stops by to tell us about Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered. We all also watched the Fallout show on Amazon Prime. This is the Gaming Outsider. Hey guys, Scott Clark with the Gaming Outsider here. If you're in the market for a new gaming chair, I've got a fantastic deal for you. We've partnered with eWin Racing, who produces the most comfortable gaming chair I've ever sat in. They've got them in sizes for all gamers, and the quality is simply incredible. As a listener of The Go, you can get 25% off your order if you use the promo code TGO at checkout when you visit ewinracing.com. You don't have to just take my word for it, however, as multiple members of our community have picked up a chair for themselves, and they love it just as much as I do. You won't be disappointed. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com or at facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even on our Discord server. You can find a link for that in the show notes for this very episode. It is Sunday, April 14th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Just dropping the bombs out here.
Drop. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
What you did. Took me a second.
Trying the
Also
best.
joining us, Miss Alyssa White. How you doing?
I'm well. I've just been in the bunker because I am the only one probably that has not indulged in what you two are talking about. But I can still make jokes about it.
There you go.
I thought you were just describing your life.
I
staying in
do.
the
Well,
bunker.
I also live in a bunker usually. Yeah, I don't leave very often, and I wasn't here last week, so it's appropriate.
Well, there you go. And it's good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. I missed you
About
guys.
a week.
A ton.
Roughly a
Yeah.
week.
A
Well,
week away is so painful for me.
Couple of quick announcements. I did not get a chance to say this last week because this was taking place after we recorded last week, but I was able to be a guest on Jeff Kanata's podcast, DLC, last week. It was a really awesome time. It was a great honor. It was my second time being there. Had a really good time. Did either of you get a chance to check out the episode?
I listen every minute.
Nice.
I have
Enjoy
not
it?
gotten to listen yet, but I will. Last week was rough, but I'll try to do
Yeah.
some catch up this week.
Yeah, man. I thought you were great. I thought you were like I told you, you're the smartest guy on that episode.
Don't say that.
Come on. I know you want to. I know we shouldn't. You're my boy. What are you talking about? No one's going to be offended by this. Jeff Kanata's not going to be offended if he hears this.
Okay. All right.
You should, you're my
If
guy.
Zack says it, it's true. I've
It was a
never
lot of
known the
fun.
man to lie.
It was very good. You seemed much more comfortable this time around.
Yeah, I was
more
definitely nervous. Well, the first time they didn't have the camera. There was no video.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Okay.
couldn't see anybody. It was just audio, which I'm so used to seeing you guys like we do now, and try to talk to somebody when you can't see their faces is awkward. But had them in full view this time. Got to talk to them. It was a great time. Highly recommend checking out that podcast. It's one of my favorite shows. Anyway, I really enjoy it. So DLC is the name of the podcast, and I know some of you listen to this also listen to that podcast. So really cool. I had a really great time, and thank you, Jeff and Christian, for the opportunity. It was a blast. I don't want to bring the show down too much, but I've got a little bit of some sad news. One of my other podcasts that I listen to religiously is a podcast called Married to the Games. I've actually got the shirt on
nice.
right now, actually. Been listening to this podcast for over 11 years. They just celebrated their 600th episode. They had a
Wow.
big gathering together, and unfortunately, the host of the show, his name is Gabe Patillo, sadly passed away about 2-3 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago on Friday. At least that's when I heard about it. We're being told it's pancreatic cancer, and it is very sad. He's got 3 kids. They've got a GoFundMe put together, and I'll have a link for that in the show notes as well if anybody is willing to help contribute, because Jenny's a stay-at-home mom, so I'm not
Wow.
really sure what they're going to do, but it is a super sad situation. If you ever got the opportunity to meet Gabe in person, he's one of the most genuinely earnest people I've ever met. He is very good at bringing people together and making every person that he interacts with feel incredibly special. He was an incredible singer, dancer. He was getting into voice acting, great podcaster. I really consider him a friend, and it is very, very sad news. So, man, I don't want to bring the show down. That really hit me. It kind of shook me. That's actually 2 friends I've lost this past week. I feel way too young to be losing friends that are younger than me. So
Sorry for your loss, Scott, and
no,
that breaks my heart.
yeah.
I'll try to help with the
Oh,
GoFundMe.
I mean, don't feel bad for me. I feel bad for his family. I mean, the youngest is
do.
like
Yeah,
6.
those
Is
kids.
in 6th grade or something like that. It's nuts. I just such a happy, beautiful family, and just gone way too soon, and he had been actually absent from the podcast for about a month, and they were talking like he just wasn't feeling well. We kind of all assumed it was because they did like a episode 600 gathering. They all got together to do a live recording in Tennessee, and he kind of put the whole thing together. So I just kind of thought he was just exhausted, but as he just kept not showing up, and then the last one, they said they're going to let him explain what's coming when he comes back, or what's happening when he comes back, and he didn't come back. They actually said it was probably going to get worse before it got better, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing posts that he had passed. So very, very unfortunate. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that. It's trying not to get emotional here. On a brighter note,
Yeah, let's have a rip-roaring good time at R2V2 in Rockford,
Yeah.
Illinois.
No, I actually, it's official. R2V2 is happening. I actually put the
Okay.
down payment on the venue. So met with him, and I've got a lot of really cool stuff lined up that I didn't even talk about last week. But the big one that I haven't even told you guys yet is that it is confirmed that we are going to have musical acts performing after the first day of R2V2. So there's going to be like an after party.
So cool.
We're gonna have musicians come in that play video game music, and I've already talked to him, and it is confirmed that Mr. Grant Henry himself is coming to R2V2 to do some tunes from Metroid Metal and Stemage and some other hits. So Grant's gonna be there. It's gonna be
That's
an
pretty
awesome
cool.
time.
Yeah.
Looking very forward to that. Still working on VIPs. Who knows? Maybe we won't have VIPs. Maybe we'll just we'll make game tournaments and things out of it or something like that. But I'm
Grant
gonna do
Henry
my
is a
best.
VIP, man.
You're absolutely right. So, anyway, the date, if you need it one more time, mark your calendar, Saturday and Sunday, October 12th and 13th. It's going to be a 2-day event, 11,000 square feet, and maybe a little more space, but I don't want to give too many details because we got something very special planned. It'll still be in the same building, but there's something really cool that I'm working on very hard to make happen. So stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get into the games we've been catching up on. Zach, what have you been playing this week that is not exactly new?
Well, I guess first I'll talk about I played through the Banner Saga 2 and completed it. Started it and beat it this week.
Wow.
Couldn't put it down. It's awesome. I had to stop myself from playing Banner Saga 3. But it was, it's exceptional. Continues the story. It's, wild to see things paying off of decisions I made in the first game, and decisions I didn't know I was making. Banner Saga 2 having ramifications at the end.
So does your save carry over, or is it just like...
That's correct. Of course, your save, Mass Effect style, and as your decisions go from there. And there's a decision at the end of the first game that affects who your protagonist is for Banner Saga 2 and 3, which is crazy. So they basically wrote the game twice, at even the base level, without even accounting for all the choices that they can make. So it's pretty nuts. But I just love this universe, this apocalypse that's coming, and now the gameplay remains pretty much the same, but I don't know, man. The cliffhanger at the end of this game was electrifying.
Very difficult to not jump into 3. You said,
yeah, I had to, but I set a reminder on my phone, for 2 months. I don't want to rush through these games because they're so great. I don't want them to just barrel through them.
Yeah, you want to savor it.
Yeah,
Make the experience last longer.
Exactly.
Is it supposed to conclude with 3, or do you think they're going to get more?
No, it was announced as a 3-parter.
Oh, okay.
And it's so much so that the first game ends on chapter 7, and Banner Saga 2 starts with chapter 8.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it is just like one flowing story, and it picks up like a couple days after the first game.
Interesting.
So it's definitely one long story. Very cool reveals about why the world is ending, or at least hinting towards why the world is ending, and why the gods of it's good stuff, man. Hard to talk about any of it without spoilers, obviously, but it is just the writing is impeccable. Love this universe, love this world. These characters are awesome. Can't wait to see more of it.
Is that one on Game Pass, or is that one you got to purchase?
I
don't
no
think
idea.
it's on Game Pass.
No, bummer.
I could be wrong. Double check.
I mean,
I'm not usually a fan of the turn-based strategy, grid, because that's what the gameplay is, right?
Yes.
And I'm terrible at those. I couldn't even get into Advance Wars.
And I find this one more difficult than most. Maybe not more difficult. It has a different rule set than a lot of turn-based games do. Like, for instance, your health is also your attack damage. So the more damage you take, the weaker your characters become.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, it does make logical sense. But you can use that in your strategy, where you could, you could weaken a bunch of the enemy characters, like knock them down to 2 health or whatever, so they can barely do anything to you because they're not even able to break through your armor. And then basically, when it's their turn, they're essentially just wasting a turn. So you can keep them alive. That way, the enemy's essentially just wasting turns. So you can make it part of your strategy, which is cool.
Huh.
And the turns work differently too, because it's like chess, where you have a guaranteed turn, no matter how many characters you have.
Right.
So if you say you knocked them down to 3 people left, and 2 of them can't do any damage, and you're just they're barreling through their turns, wasting them on people that can't do anything to you. So there's a lot of interesting strategy. It's just a very different rule set than
interesting,
like Advanced Wars or something like that.
I can confirm it is not on Game Pass. It was at one point, but about 3 years ago it got pulled. So,
well, you can get the trilogy on disc for like $15.
Oh, really? Because the first one digitally is $25.
Yeah, they're $25 a pop digitally, but I got the Banner Saga trilogy disc after playing the first one and loving it, and it was only like $15 at Walmart.
Wow,
that's a steal.
Like brand new, huh?
It comes with like stickers, and it comes with a bunch of bonuses as well.
Stickers.
Nice.
Didn't know we had such a sticker fan in the house.
Yeah,
I like
didn't either.
when stuff comes with extra stuff. That's why I got into K-pop albums. That's a whole different thing. Anyway, I just like when stuff has extras in it.
Yeah, but I highly recommend Banner Saga. But also, they just added some new stuff to the PlayStation Stars reward program. I don't know if you guys are in that. They give you points for they give you like points you can use to buy stuff by like doing activities every month.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But they added Balatro to one of the rewards, and I had enough points, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up Balatro on your recommendation.
Okay, I'm waiting on bated breath.
And then this game continued to eat 4 or 5 hours of my evening, because you can't put it down once you start.
Isn't it addicting?
It is very addicting. Yeah, it's hard to describe in voice. I feel like when you play it makes a lot more sense than when I was hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, or I'm just terrible at explaining it.
No, I don't think so. It's just you hear poker roguelite, but it's only poker in that you're making poker hands. The poker aspect of it really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like a playing card roguelike. But anyway,
yeah.
Once you get those jokers in there, the jokers are fun,
right? And there's so many of them.
And I didn't figure out. I'm sure the game told me, and I just didn't realize it, that the jokers play out left to right in order. So if you have a multiplayer at the end, oh baby, you're cooking.
Right. That actually becomes important with some of the jokers that you get later on as you start unlocking more and more jokers.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's one joker that will always destroy the joker to its right, but it will increase that card's multiplier by 4.
I got that one.
The dagger. Yeah. It's just stuff like that is just... so the order of them actually does matter often.
Yeah, and it's I guess it is a roguelike, not a roguelite, right? Because you're always starting over from scratch with your playing cards. There are no permanent buffs.
Well, not permanent buffs, but you have new cards available to you.
True.
You know what I mean? So, and then it's also fun just how they keep introducing new decks to use. I just unlocked a deck where it removes all face cards. So you're playing nothing but ace through 10.
Oh, interesting.
Which sounds rough, but if you think about it, you just removed like a good portion of your deck, so it makes the odds higher for you to get the card that you need.
Right, so now you can shred. Yeah, that was a key for me. I kept being resistant to like changing the suits of cards. You get those tarot cards that can affect the cards. But anyway, I got one that was like change this whole hand to spades or whatever. And I hadn't thought of like, oh yeah, it's so much easier to make straight flushes now.
Right.
Yeah, but I was resistant at first. I'm like, you shouldn't be messing with a deck like that. But no, I should. I should be messing with the deck as much as possible to increase my odds on these things.
Especially like I got a card once it's a pretty common card, but if you play every card that has a heart or every card that has a diamond gets a multiplier.
Yeah.
So then I was focusing on anytime I could change cards, I was changing them to that suit. So that at one point, legitimately half of my deck was all diamonds. Like it was nuts how much I had changed.
Hey, shout out to the diamond. It's a different color than the hearts.
Barely. It's very, very minor.
Well, to my colorblind eye, it was enough to where I can recognize that that's a diamond immediately.
Nice.
So I don't know. It's helpful to me, so I will accept it.
Very cool, man.
But yeah, I got my first win, which is pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Because I hear those are rare.
Again, I'm just terrible at it.
No, I don't. I'm not. It wasn't a shot at you. I was just.
I know. I'm making a shot at myself.
Yeah, it's fun, and because the jokers are random that you're getting, so it affects the way you're seeing the cards every run.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I wish. I don't think there's a way to do it, but I almost wish the runs were a little faster because if you're on a hot streak, like a whole run is almost an hour. I feel like.
Yes, there is a way to speed up the speed of the game so that the cards will actually shuffle faster and things just move at a quicker pace.
Oh, okay.
There's like 3 levels of it. I actually use the second level. The third level is too fast for me. Like I kind of want to see what I'm getting points for. You know what I mean?
No, that's the joy is you get to see the number go up.
Right.
What the gamer doesn't love that, but
yeah, the second level is perfect for me. So that does speed the game up significantly. So I recommend doing that.
Check that out in the options.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's I want to play it right after this podcast. It is just fun. It seems like a fun wind down after work kind of game.
Yes, it really is. This is a very chill game, even though I get stressed out when I'm in that 7th or 8th ante.
Oh yeah,
I start I can feel my palms sweating on my controller because I don't want to screw it up.
I got one of the ante bosses was the wall where like you have to get a much more significant blind than the like say this big blind is 200,000, then the wall was like 450,000.
Right,
it's this huge jump up. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So some of these bosses are tough. That's what I'm saying.
That one is a lot easier if you get it in the lower antes because it doesn't have that significant of a jump.
Oh,
so
see, I thought it had something to do with because it was after I won, and you get to go into infinite mode if you want.
Yeah.
And then the first one was the wall, so I was like, oh, is this like how they gatekeep you from doing infinite run?
No, they're all completely random because I've had that one in pretty much any ante before. That would be
the
ones that really suck are the ones that deal cards face down.
Oh yeah.
Like there is some strategy to it because you can actually sort the cards by rank or by their suit, so you can kind of play with that and see which cards are which, based on where they are positioned in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no 100% way to do it. But it's just fun ways to make each run feel completely different. Like I'm gonna go for a flush build this time, or things like that. I had a full flush the other day.
The whole hand was a flush, or what do you mean?
No, a full house, but all the cards were suited.
Oh, okay.
Because
is that a real hand?
No, it's not a real poker hand. It's not. It's not possible.
Yeah.
In a 52 deck of cards, but because you can manipulate the deck and change the suits often, it's possible to make that happen.
Excuse me, I meant, is it a real hand like in this game? Does it give you points for getting a full flush? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you actually like you know how you get the little celestial cards that increase?
Yeah.
The rank there actually it unlocks that, so you can actually get that as a hand to increase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love the planet cards.
Yes.
I like to buy those.
I'm always upgrading flushes whenever I can. I'm starting to gravitate more towards straights, but flushes are my thing.
Yeah, no, I respect that. I mean, a
I'm,
straight
I'm
flush.
so,
I
so
got
excited.
one royal flush, and it gave you a trophy for it. I felt so cool. I felt so accomplished.
Yep. Pretty cool feeling.
Yeah,
Very cool feeling. Oh man, I'm so excited that you actually liked it. I was worried I was overselling it, but
I think you might have undersold it, man. This game is incredible.
You think so? Wow.
It's very addictive.
Yeah.
Like it has that thing where you get to ante 5 out of 8 or whatever, and even though you're like, okay, I just spent 40 minutes, I should really do something else. Well, let's just see how the new run goes.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden 2 hours pass by. Yeah.
Exactly. And the time goes by so fast.
Yes. Yeah. It's dangerous. Dangerous game.
Anyway, Alyssa, how's your progress in Rebirth going?
Going well. I've reached at least over the halfway point. I'm chapter 8, so
okay. Wow,
we're making progress here.
Nice.
Just got to the Dust Bowl. Hopefully,
okay.
Can you return to the Golden Saucer after?
Yes.
Okay, because
there'll be more to do there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was just curious because I got to a point and I'm like, oh, I get to do this thing, and then the story went, nope, you're going to the Dust Bowl.
Who was you given a tour to on your Golden Saucer day?
Oh, Tifa.
Oh, okay.
Does it go with the other option if you have more?
I think it's one of the two girls.
Yeah, mine was Aerith.
Mine was Aerith as well.
I didn't realize.
And I was livid, let me tell you.
I didn't realize you would have a different option. Like, I was just like, oh, this is Tifa's part of the story.
Yeah,
so I didn't realize. Yes.
I'm sorry if I somehow ruined the illusion. No, yeah, you invested your time. I got the Tifa date I wanted later. Don't worry about that. But
I thought I was like messing up my relationship with Tifa because I kept like I thought I was doing the wrong dialogue choices and stuff, but apparently I was doing okay because I got Tifa. So
you got more game than you thought.
Apparently.
Yeah. Well, you find out that also whichever synergy powers you use with Cloud actually help increase that relationship too.
Oh.
So if you're using the synergy powers with Cloud and Tifa, that also increases that.
Oh yeah, she's in my party, so
yeah.
My party is Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett usually.
Yeah, Avalanche. That's fine. That was my go-to party as well.
I like having Barrett in there though because he's better with the airborne enemies, like with his gun armor.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely.
So I like to have him and then cool. Tifa and Cloud. Aerith's helpful, but Tifa a little bit more.
I mean, I love Tifa in combat, and Barrett's fun because you can do that little like triangle button thing where he kind of reloads his gun arm, but it just feels cool.
Overcharge, you can actually make that thing charge up really quickly too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's he was my go-to for sure. Glad you're digging it, Zach. I saw you playing Balatro. I think you texted me, I think, or then you posted
you
on Twitter.
texted the group because I saw it too, but I'm like, I have no knowledge, so I'm just gonna let the guys talk about it.
So I figured, well, hey, you played something I recommended. I thought I'd play something you recommended. So I checked out Dust and Neon.
A little roguelike swap here.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really digging Dust and Neon. I didn't spend a ton of time in it. It takes a while to get used to because. As you mentioned when you originally reviewed this game, it's like a twin stick shooter, but not because you don't just fire in all directions like in a Vampire Survivors or mini shoot adventures, which I talked about last week, where it's just bullets. The whole concept of reloading every individual bullet has that been done before?
I feel to my knowledge.
Every game is just like you press one button, and not only like to reload each one, but to pull up the gun to reload it. Yeah. So like if you got a shotgun with 2 missing rounds, it's going to take 3 button presses to do it, to pull it up, to load the 2 in, and then you're good. And it's not annoying. Like when you were describing it, I was like, that sounds miserable. But it's kind of cool. Like it feels because you're running anyway, so I'm kind of doing this finger puzzle of like dodging, rolling out of the way, aiming this thing, and reloading it. But it feels really cool when you pull everything off. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm surprised you like it because it feels very skill tree heavy. With like But I guess it's also simple. It's not like +4 to damage. It's just
I remember it being pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of options, but it's all like, okay, increase your health by 5, increase your health by another 5.
Yeah,
So.
But it's also like you're just doing that with your run rewards anyway, right? So just kind of I don't think about it too much.
So I'm gonna keep playing it. I'm enjoying it. I only died once, and I think it was the time you were supposed to die. Like the guy says at the beginning that he accidentally transported you to a wrong place, and it was all these enemies that were clearly, past where I was supposed to be, and I was like, oh, I think that was a mistake, or maybe I just am terrible.
Maybe you're that good that you got to that part.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying that one. I'm glad
you like the reload mechanic. I thought it was pretty sweet.
And it's really interesting. It takes a little bit of getting used to with the isometric view because it's not directly overhead like most twin stick shooters. So it's a little weird trying to get that correct angle, to be to show that you're hitting the enemy. But it also feels very satisfying, like the way they explode and crumble. I pulled that shot off. You know what I mean? Or the different options. I'm always a sniper rifle guy, so you've got the sniper rifle that you can get them from a great distance, and I don't know. And it's just kind of interesting that it's not like a bullet hell dodging bullets kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like, oh yeah, they shoot a gun and it hits you or it doesn't.
Right. Well, there's some cover mechanics in there as well.
Yeah, I've never seen a cover game or cover mechanic in a twin stick roguelike. Like it's like it becomes a necessary strategy, or I feel like it's going to become a necessary strategy.
Yeah, definitely. It was especially against some of the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Did I tell you they finally patched the trophy? So I do have all the trophies now in the game.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
That's exciting.
I also got a win in Balatro, so I'm up to like 9 now. So I got that going on. And,
all right, show off, rub it in, why don't you?
And then I did get some time in Baldur's Gate 3 this morning. Played with Kevin and Paul Hine from the community, and made it through Act 1, guys. I'm officially a third of the way through the game, at least in terms of chapters. I have no idea how long the acts are, but yeah. And it turns out we could have gone like a long time ago. We just kept doing all the side stuff. So, but I checked the clock. I've put about 34 hours into this game, and still absolutely loving it.
A third of the way through, 33 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Again, we're doing everything, man. Like
I understand. Does it have like a cool Act 1 cliffhanger or anything like that?
No, not really like a cliffhanger type of thing. It's just more like opening up a new area.
Okay.
But as soon as you go into the new area, you're introduced to a new character, and there's something pretty cool that happens, and you're introduced to a new villain that I can't decide if it is the villain of the whole villain of the game, or if he's a villain of this act. You know what I mean? And I asked Kevin, and he's like, I don't know. It's like that's his standard
He's
answer
not gonna
whenever we
tell
do
you
this.
anything.
But I got to tell you, it was the part that we ended on. We were in this area, and we're tootling along, and we met up with these people called, I believe they're called Harpers. I'm not familiar with the lore of D&D clearly, but we were friendly with them, and we're tootling along, and all of a sudden this creature starts walking through, and it is a dude. It's a spider with a man's body for the head, and he's mumbling like he's talking to his queen. He keeps like talking about like apologizing to his queen and all this and that. I'm like, what is going on? So my character is a rogue, so I had the option to either just like go in and fight him or try to be sneaky. And since I was a rogue, I said I was going to be sneaky. Well, I did that, but the other characters in my party were not. So all of a sudden we're in combat, and so it was a really cool fight because we actually had all these Harper. I think they're Harper characters that are helping us. But we took out this giant, humanoid spider-looking thing. But he's really cool because he's got like spider eyes like in his forehead on one side of his face. So he's like a human face, but then he's got, I don't know, it's just really cool.
Sounds kind of cool.
I can't remember what the word was that he called it. Like it was a rider or something. It rhymed with spider. And Kevin said it, and I thought he was joking, like he was just making like a pun. Like, it's a really big spider.
A strider spider.
Something like that, yeah. No, that's actually the name of the creature, and I'm saying the name wrong. I can't remember what it's called.
Maybe he's a wider spider. He's a little heavy set.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, the really cool part, and I keep mentioning this with this game, but is Kevin texted me afterwards, and he said that he loves playing through this a second time with me because that entire encounter was completely different in his game. In his game, he met up with that spider creature, befriended them, actually joined their party, and then they started going through, and they came across the Harper characters that I befriended and actually fought them.
Oh.
So it's just like fascinating to me that, like, you know, the longevity, the number of hours you could get out of this game conceivably after you finish it. You could just play it again and get a completely different experience. You could play through the game as a different class and with different companions. I mean, there's about a half a dozen characters sitting back at my camp that I've never used. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I have no idea what their abilities are, and you know, it's just such
You're not curious to bring about in the world?
Well, no, because I'm so invested in my character and the abilities he has. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I'm saying you can't bring them on the party with you?
You can, but we've only got 4 in the party, and 3 of them are our characters.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's no way we're not having Karlak in our party. I'm sorry. Karlak is just...
She's your girl?
She's awesome, dude. I actually started to like hint at like a romance with her a little bit.
Oh, man.
And it was really funny because Kevin wasn't listening in on that conversation. And we did this whole thing where I don't know if you know how much you know about Karlak, but she's got like an engine inside her that's like why she's on fire all the time. Like her body just looks like it's like literally got flames coming out of it.
Uh-huh.
And I found not a cure, but a way to temper that, because she's really upset that she can't physically have physical contact with anybody.
Sure.
And I met a dude that was able to come up with a workaround for that. But the trade-off is that at some point that engine is going to explode and going to destroy her. And she said, I don't care. I want to live, not go through life, live longer and have a miserable life. I want to feel, I want to know what it's like to have contact with people. And if I die, I die. And so she does it. You make the decision to do it. And then like, oh, it's time to test it out to see if she can have contact. And they give you a bunch of options. And I chose the one to take her and give her a hug. And Paul was with me watching this interaction. And he just goes, aw. And Kevin wasn't there. He's like, what happened? And I was like, oh, we're just doing this thing with Karlak. I just hugged her. And he got like legit mad for a second. He's like, that's my girl. You back off. Like, it was...
Wow. I don't know anything about the characters' personalities, but I know Karlak is interesting to look at.
She's also a lot of fun to play with because she hits like a truck.
Yeah.
I
want her to throw me around. I got to play that. I want to play that game. But it's interesting that all the boys like Karlak. You know, I've been hearing so much about Shadowheart over the months.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of Shadowheart as a character. I kind of find her annoying a little bit.
Oh, okay.
She's cute, but I'm not a big fan of her character. Karlak is just all around awesome. Just very, very cool. So
I gotta go back to this game. One of these days. One of these days.
I don't think it's cross-played though, right? So if you get it on PlayStation, you can't play together.
I would want to play alone at first anyway.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It would be so much fun to have the Kevin experience.
You could be the Sherpa this time.
Yeah, just like to watch you make the decisions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will if you want to play it on your own. That's...
Well, I would want to play it on PlayStation. We get it on Xbox, you know.
I have it on PC as well, so it could... Anyway, that's the games we've been catching up on. Let's now go ahead and jump into the week's news. Before we get into the news, I need to talk to you guys about eWin Racing and their gaming products. You've probably heard the promo at the beginning of the episode, but I wanted to give you guys some background information. First off, back in 2001, this company originally began by manufacturing seats for luxury sports cars. So you know that the stuff that they're making is quality. This is very, very good stuff. I'm actually sitting in mine right now. In 2015 is when they actually started making gaming chairs. So that's why it's called eWin Racing, because they were actually, like I said, they were making these chairs for luxury cars. They've been featured at E3 3 different times back in 2017, 18, and 19. And then in 2019, they were designated as the official gaming chair for the PC Gaming Show. I mean, I've been sitting in this thing for over a year now. It is an absolutely fantastic chair. It's comfortable. I don't ever feel like I'm sitting straight up, but I feel like I'm reclining. It's just a very, very comfortable chair. I highly recommend it. And if you're one of those gamers that is a little bit bigger framed, these things are built with a 500-pound capacity, so you don't have to worry about it. And they actually ask for your dimensions, your height, and your weight, and they actually kind of tailor make it for your fit.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys sat in them at or no, Zach, you sat in it at.
Yeah, I didn't get to.
Yeah, you weren't there, but I got a chance to sit in the one. We gave one away at the last R2V2. Everybody that sat in it really wanted it, and it's really cool. So, and another thing, they don't just make gaming chairs; they also make game desks and floor mats and all that stuff. Tons of products available there. Numerous people in our community have purchased and love them. I highly recommend you check it out. Go over to ewinracing.com, and our promo code is still active. So if you use the code TGO, you'll be able to get 20% off any purchase, not just on a chair, on a gaming desk, on a gaming floor mat, or a chair if you want to go there. They're really great, and I highly recommend it. So be sure to check that out.
You should do commercials for a living.
You think so?
Yeah. Good at it.
Let's go ahead and move on to some news. Got some trailers to talk about. Actually, no, those are the trailers from last week that Scott did not delete from the format. So we'll just go right into the news. The Triple I Initiative Showcase revealed several new games this week. Also, despite what certain people want to believe, Dead Space 2 is reportedly not in the works. I'm purposely leaving somebody's name out of that. Totally intentional. Fallout 4 is getting a content update for current-gen consoles and PC, and there are 3 new SNES games available on Nintendo Switch Online right now. I don't remember who I started with last week, so I'm just going to go to Alyssa. Alyssa,
Okay.
What story would you like to talk about?
Let's talk about Dead Space 2 not being in the works. It was speculated that the game was in development and shelved due to poor sales of the first game, but EA came outright and denied that it was ever in development. And they quoted saying, "We don't normally comment on rumors, but there is no validity to this story. EA Motive is currently working on whatever the next Battlefield is, as well as the Iron Man game."
Zach?
Oh, boy.
I have so many things I want to say, but I'm afraid to say.
One prominent leaker who is often incorrect leaked that Dead Space 2 had started development, right, with the code name.
Mm-hmm.
And that EA had canceled it. EA, in an unusual move, came out and said that is not true. Now, they said there's no validity to the story, so does that mean that there is a Dead Space 2 remake? I don't, But it was later clarified by a reporter at IGN and, of course, Jason Schreier, who does have a track record of being right, that the game was never in development at all.
Mm-hmm.
So then the original leaker got really catty and was like, well, you can believe EA if you want to. Even though he got out-reported in this instance. But that's all right.
Here's the thing. Look, I should be more upset by this story because we're not getting a Dead Space 2 remake.
Uh-huh.
Really, I loved the first one a lot. I'm upset
I did as well.
Apparently didn't sell well enough to warrant another one, especially because I think Dead Space 2 was the superior game of the two. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to see that. I mean, granted, Dead Space 2 is still there and it looks really good.
I was going to say, the only thing you would improve is the graphics, because the stuff they added to the Dead Space 1 remake, like Isaac talking or Zero G, that stuff is in Dead Space 2.
And that's completely fair. So, and that may be part of the reason why, if the first one didn't do that well, the better game is not going to do any better because, what else do you add to Dead Space 2 without, making crazy changes to the game that nobody wants? So, I don't know. I just wanted to see it in that current gen glory. I
understand that. I'm just saying,
I get it. Yeah.
And also, I'd like to earn those achievements again because I can't earn any more playing the game. I got them all. So, no, but that's what I should be upset about. And what I'm more upset, and I purposely put this story on here, even though I knew Zach probably didn't want me to, because it's a non-story, right? It's hey, a game isn't in development,
right? Yeah, that's
You know what I
fair.
mean?
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me more angry about this story is the direction that journalism has fallen, at least, I mean, everywhere for sure, but specifically in my world, in the video game world, where it is getting difficult for me to find stories to talk about in our news segment because everything is somebody tweeted this quote and said that this is happening, or there are rumors about this. Everything is speculation, and this is what so and so thinks is going to happen, and this is what so and so assumes is going to happen. That's not news, guys. That's commentary. That is color commentary on what you want, and the fact that we are following people like this, and I'm not saying that I am a legit journalist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going in and having conversations with these companies. I don't have any insider information or inside contacts like real journalists do. But I would love to get into that kind of field, and it frustrates me seeing people making a career out of being popular for making guesses.
Right. Yes.
For like, you're like a video game weatherman, and
That's true,
like,
yeah.
no matter how wrong you are, you're still popular for it. Now, granted, after seeing some of the tweets and seeing some of the responses on there, it seems like a lot of people are kind of in my boat. Like, dude, you're wrong just as often as you are correct.
Yeah.
And when can I know we've said some things about Mr. Schreier in the past, and like how he kind of likes to stir the pot.
Sure.
But he does his due diligence, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but I struggle to not respect the game because he's doing it legitimately, and he's doing doing actual investigative journalism. And I don't know. I respect him for that. And I just
I was gonna say the guy's a total a-hole. There are stories I could share not on this podcast, but the point is he also does his job very well.
He does.
Right.
And that's probably why he's such an arrogant,
Yeah.
But for these other people who are, they're just saying whatever they want. We should just start doing that, right? We should just start saying stuff as fact.
I refuse. I'm sorry. I refuse. I just want there to be.
You heard it here
news.
first. Dragon Age 4 is actually Mass Effect 4 in disguise. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I heard it was a Mass Effect Dragon Age crossover. They're actually going to bring those universes together. So it's going to be.
I didn't want to say too much,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well.
No, it's all garbage, man.
But I can word it in such a way that makes me not look wrong when I am wrong.
You have to do. Yeah, always add with, but plans could change. Gears of War 6 is going to get announced this June. Well, but although the plan could get pushed back. Great. You've said nothing. You've said literally nothing.
Yeah. But people eat it up. That's what
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Dude, that Gears of War 6 rumor from a few weeks ago really did ruffle my feathers. Same person, by the way. Being like, I hear it's going to get announced in June, though it could get pushed back. I'm like, you said, why is that a story? He said nothing.
Yeah. This could be a thing, but
I heard
they're going to don't be surprised.
I heard they're going to announce a new Star Fox game this summer, although the announcement could get pushed back.
Right.
I said nothing. I just said nothing.
And a lot of people will believe it because they don't research or anything. They'll just be like, okay, I know this person, so if they say it, I'm going to believe it unless,
But that's the point of journalism, is so that you supply information for people that don't have access to the research. You know what I mean? Like you're...
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I could do a whole topic on the future of journalism in general. I mean, how many times have we turned on something on CNN or Fox News or anything, and you'll notice I said both of them because I'm not going to fall into either camp. But like on the screen, the news is, this is what somebody tweeted.
Yes. Yeah. Why? Yeah. The news is just tweets, which is even funnier when you think about how many people have a Twitter account. It's only like 20% of Americans have a Twitter account, and then how many people actually use it. And yet it is the entire news cycle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it dictates everything. It gets people fired.
Right. Drives me crazy. I don't know what the answer is. Like, is it the fault of these journalists, or is it the fault of the people that are eating it up and buying into it? I don't know.
I'm blaming the journalists because it's their job to filter the news. There was an era where people did hard-hitting journalism and people watched it and learned from it. But we don't live in that society anymore.
But
and
I mean, at the same time,
we also live. You're in the education system. It seems like they want people uninformed.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Both sides of the political spectrum.
And at the same time, I understand, faulting the journalists like you're saying, but they're giving the people what they want. You know what I mean? It's making them money. So if you're looking at it from a business perspective, and you're considered an entertainment outlet, not a journalist outlet, but I don't think that people make that distinction.
Oh no, they don't.
I think that people look at some of these publications and they can't tell if they are an entertainment outlet or if they are a legitimate journalist outlet.
In the words of noted monster Henry Ford, if I gave the people what they wanted, I would have given them a faster horse.
That's a very poignant statement. Because remember how afraid of, not remember, we weren't there. I was.
You might have been, yeah.
People didn't want cars. They saw, There's a story that I read with my students called Get a Horse, where this kid is riding in his father's new automobile that they just got, and everybody is cajoling them as they're driving it through town, saying, get a horse, get a horse. And that was going to be the standard in the future.
Yeah.
And that's,
point is, you can't give people what they want. People don't know what they want. They just think they know what they want.
Very good point.
Is anybody happier, worrying about who's in the Olympics, what gender is in the Olympics? I don't think that makes anybody happier. But that's news.
I think it makes some people happier.
Yeah.
I think it makes people feel vindicated or feel like, oh, this thing I've been championing is finally happening, so I was right.
Yeah.
Like this thing that is important to me is now being talked about, so it's important. You know what I mean? I can kind of get that because I've been a fan of video games since I was a child, and it was not popular when I was a kid, and I've been waiting for it to be popular like it is now. You know what I mean? And here we are, and so I wanted that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the thing though about things
happier.
You like if it's not popular, you're like you want it to be popular, but when it becomes popular, that's when more rumors are spread, and you face more disappointment with it. So pros and cons to things being popular and more niche. So it's kind of like a careful what you wish for situation with a lot of things.
Right, like you want people to accept you for the things that you like, but you don't want them to ruin it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get that. Boy, we just went on a tangent there, and I'm sorry for getting on my soapbox. I feel like this is
Dead Space 2 not coming.
Yeah, all that.
We're not getting it.
That's why I kept the story in here, because the whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way. That and like you said, the Gears 6 story. Like, well, way to come up with that one. Right.
Yeah. Now that Xbox Live Gold's going to go away and get replaced with Game Pass. Yeah, man. Anybody with eyeballs can tell that. You didn't say anything profound.
Right.
But I guess we're going to give you all the credit for it somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it makes me even madder that I'm talking about it. Like,
right.
I'm part of the problem now because I am bringing it to light. So I don't know.
It's just because it's so frustrating.
It's very frustrating. Like, stop. Like that people can get popular and get clicks and make so much money doing something that I love doing by throwing darts at a board and just and making statements of fact that number one aren't fact.
People just accept rumor. Yeah, like everyone was like, oh, so when the Switch 2 got delayed, how could it get delayed? It was never announced.
Yeah.
It was just a rumor.
But people want to believe what they want to hear. Yeah. And somehow we've lost track of that in all aspects of news. I mean, the fact that we have two different news networks that are heavily leaning one way or the other tells you all you need to know about American politics. Like why is there not
the same stories with completely different facts? Yeah.
I've started like getting alerts from BBC for the past few years just because I feel like they're giving a more biased opinion, a biased viewpoint of anything that goes on anywhere in the world. And that's dying here. Boy, okay. Zach, pick another story before I just go off on a tangent again.
Yo, new Prince of Persia game announced. And I guess also there was an indie showcase around it. But all that really matters
Prince of Persia.
is a new Prince of Persia. The Rogue Prince of Persia. We'll talk about the other games. That's fine. But the Rogue Prince of Persia got announced. This is a rumor we talked about, I think, last week.
Mhm.
Look at us talking about rumors all the time around here.
That's all there's in the news, man.
But it is confirmed here, which means now I will be excited because formerly I was not, as it was just a rumor. And there's no sense getting excited about a rumor.
Oh, so it wasn't like you weren't actually excited, you were just tempering it because
Yes.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
okay.
You don't
Something
want
you
to get
think could
excited
change.
over nothing.
I
No.
still think the name is lame, the Rogue Prince of Persia. I think that's kind of a lame name, but that's
Doesn't
fine.
roll off the tongue very well.
No, I mean, they just want to tell you that it's a roguelike, I guess is what they're trying to do. But yeah, this is from the people that made the Dead Cells DLC, including the Castlevania crossover. So that is exciting, as I've heard good things. I didn't like Dead Cells. I wouldn't. If this was any other property, I wouldn't be checking this out. But it is Prince of Persia in the title. So what am I to do, guys? What am I to do?
You have to.
I have to play it.
Yeah.
There's only like 15 seconds of gameplay in that trailer, but at least there was gameplay. I was worried that there was not going to be. But
There was some
it had,
gameplay, like people playing it, like playing the
Oh,
demo
okay.
or whatever afterwards. So
I got to check that out. But it did look like it had platforming, which was my concern about how do you do platforming in a roguelike. That's good, but you said it was good in Dead Cells. So I don't know. Yeah, I am excited. It's only on PC early access for right now. I assume it will. No doubt it will come to consoles with its 1.0 release. But it's yet another reason that I got to get a Steam Deck. It's getting out of control. There's so much
it's
going
only-
on over there.
it's only PC.
Well, because it's in early access right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Or it's in early access. When it comes out in May, it's technically early access, and then it will come out 1.0 later on.
It looks like a very much a flow state combat game. You know what I mean? Where like we talked about Batman Arkham Asylum. You know how you get into a rhythm. It looks like
Mhm.
that, but side scrolling.
Yeah, and it looks like it's integrating the platforming into the combat, which is always the Prince of Persia de jour.
Right.
So it's very cool. And apparently they've been working on this for like 3 or 4 years, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
So I wonder how they feel, the indie studio getting the Prince of Persia license, and then and then Ubisoft decides to knock out their own Prince of Persia in the meantime. But I bet they're a little annoyed. But
I probably delayed the reveal. Right? They wanted the Lost Crown hype to die down a little bit.
to get their time in the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because they didn't want to be the Tide Me Over to Lost Crown. They wanted it to be the other way around, probably.
I think it's a fun way to use a property, though. Give it to a little indie studio to do their thing with, kind of like that Cadence of Hyrule situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's a really fun way to use these properties, is to let excited fans take a swing at it.
I agree. Did you see anything else from the showcase that stood out to you?
Oh man, I was so distracted. You got anything? I was so distracted by Prince of Persia.
I mean,
Dude,
I
ahead.
didn't see much, but I thought the trailer for Rakugaki was very beautiful. Love the cyberpunk theme,
Yeah,
but I don't know what the game's
I
about.
was gonna say, I wish I knew what the game was.
The trailer's gorgeous, but that's all I can say about it. It looks like it could be interesting, but I don't know like what kind of game it is, what the gameplay's like, what the story's about. It just looks pretty.
There was actually one other game that got me very excited. It was Gestalt Seaman Cylinder, kind of this 2D action game, steampunk aesthetic. But it just looked very cool and looked very story focused. It was giving me slight Iconoclast vibes in terms of its presentation, and it seemed like narrative focus. I was quite drawn by that, and it just had a cool look to it. It made me think of you, Scott.
Iconoclast is a game that I never would have played without your recommendation. And
That's a
boy,
good
was
game,
I
though,
glad
right?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to check out. That is also only on Steam at launch, though. So
Mm.
what am I to do? And then I thought Vampire Survivors doing a Contra DLC is hilarious.
I thought that was great.
Because it already looks so much like Castlevania that the natural answer would be to Castlevania DLC. But there's a problem if you do Castlevania DLC, and that you would have to have vampires in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing Vampire Survivors refuses to do, it is to have a vampire in it.
So instead, they just go for another Konami property.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's so perfect, dude. That's so funny.
That's really funny.
I think that
I'm
they're
going to
aware.
play it.
Yeah, of course. More Vampire Survivors? You kidding me?
I say that, and I haven't played any of the recent stuff. I tried to, and it's been so long. I don't remember any of the combinations at all. So like,
I'm sure it's like riding a bike. You do one round, you get stomped, then you'll get back to it.
Are you gonna buy it on PlayStation since it's coming to PlayStation?
To get some trophies? You bet. It's only a $5 game. Why wouldn't I just buy it again real quick?
yeah.
I was mainly talking to Scott.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
No. Oh, it's only going to be on PlayStation?
It's coming to PlayStation now.
Oh.
Vampire Survivors is getting a PlayStation version.
Oh, I gotcha. I was like,
saying. Yeah.
I thought she was saying that the DLC, this DLC was only coming to PlayStation. Like, no, I mean, I have it on Xbox. I don't have a need to buy it. The only reason I would buy it again is to have it on my Switch, which, nah.
Nah.
I like my couch for that one, for sure. The one that stood out to me, and you guys are going to laugh, but Undermine 2. Do you remember? I loved Undermine.
Did you? All right.
Dude, I put over 150 hours in that game.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, dude,
What the hell is I don't even remember this game at all. I'm so sorry.
I don't really remember it either.
I feel like such a bad friend right now.
Oh my goodness, I talked it up for like weeks back in the day.
Oh man, I feel
it's
so
just
bad.
it's a rogue. It's you're a little miner dude, then you go down into the depths and you mine for gold and you fight enemies and get to bosses, and then you die and you come back and you get to spend all your gold that you collected and keep doing it over again. But the art is really cool, and I just freaking loved it. I had no idea that this was coming, and it kind of makes me want to go jump back into Undermine again, because it was on Game Pass, I think. If it's not on Game Pass, I'm going to go buy it, because I put in enough time into that game to make it
right now.
Why?
Well, it came out it came out while we're on the show. I no doubt edited the review. You gave it a 9.5 out of 10. What the hell? What's going on? 2020.
Okay, I wasn't here then, so
you get a pass. I don't. I'm a terrible person, and
no, you're
I'm sorry.
not, Zach.
You might not have been editing at that point. Was I just editing my own at that point?
No, I'm pretty sure I was. I was definitely editing at that point.
Man, such a great game. So addicting.
Sorry, I'm a terrible person.
Wasn't trying to make you feel bad, but
dude, if you put 150 hours into a game, I should remember that you played it. That's the least I should do.
It's okay, Zach. Really, it's okay.
I'm going to think about this all day.
There's a whole bunch of other stuff that was announced. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but I'm confused by the Pal World multiplayer, because I thought Pal World was multiplayer.
I thought so as well.
Can somebody explain that to me? Or is it like, this something about like an arena mode? Which, again, I don't understand that game at all. Everyone is just raving about it, although I've heard the numbers have dipped significantly.
Well, that's going to happen.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know too much about that. We finally saw some of the V Rising.
Yeah, the Castlevania crossover.
Yeah.
So it's cool. That game looks somewhat interesting.
What, that's it?
I mean, it looks like I will finally try the survival genre with V Rising.
Survival in that, I guess I'm not understanding.
Because you're like chopping down trees and hunting for
okay, yeah.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's normally a genre I don't care about. This vampire aesthetic and leanings has me intrigued. Because I think you can drink the blood of your enemies but gain some of their powers.
Wow.
So it's in your best interest to beat the boss characters to get their power-ups, which I assume you can do to Simon Belmont with the DLC.
So it's Mega Man, just by a different developer.
No, I think it's closer to Ark or Minecraft. But I don't know. It looks as intriguing as the genre has ever looked to me, so I want to try it out.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about Fallout 4. You're going to hear us talk about the Fallout television show in a bit, but this was no coincidence that this news dropped right when the TV show came out, and I think it's actually perfect because after watching the show, I really got an itch to go back into Fallout 3 or Fallout 4.
It's almost like they play in this.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's almost like they play in this.
Yeah. And I played Fallout 4 at launch. That was 6 years ago? Is it 6? It's got to be.
2015.
2015? 9 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
because it came out right around Rise of the Tomb Raider. Same day as Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Which that, by the way, is on Game Pass, or coming to Game Pass.
Oh, well, everyone should play it.
Everyone should play. I don't
It's,
understand the negative reviews for that one. But it's getting a content update for current gen consoles and PC. It's going to be free and will release on April 25th. It's going to offer a native version for both PS5 and Series consoles. You're going to have the choice between a performance mode or quality mode, which I know everybody is, that's like the big buzzwords now.
Yes.
You know, I listened to a show this week where they said they were not playing a game that was coming out in the near future because it's going to be at 30 frames per second, and how dare they? That's a whole other thing. But anyway,
I wonder if people will hold steadfast to this opinion if GTA 6 is 30 frames. Because I have a feeling people will cave.
I hope so. I just hope that GTA 6 is 30 FPS now, just so I can see the hypocrisy. But anyway, Bethesda also promised up to 60 frames per second and increased resolutions. And even if you're on PS4 or Xbox, you're still going to get the free update that gives stability improvements and some quest fixes. And the game's also going to be available on Epic Game Store, which is a first, apparently. And it will be Steam Deck verified, so you can play it there. There is going to be new story content as well as weapons and skins. And for some reason, 38 new Halloween decorations for your settlement, which doesn't do anything for me because I never touched the settlements at all. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going to jump back in, man, because I did either that or I'm going to go back to Fallout 3 because I restarted that a while back just because I forgot how much I freaking missed this series.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 would be fresher in terms of, like, I only played through that game once, whereas Fallout 3 I played through at least twice, if not 3 times. So,
but Fallout 3 is probably much better.
Fallout 4 was pretty good, man. Wasn't as memorable.
Never
wasn't as
it.
memorable, but it was. So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool, and like you said, this is no coincidence. This is actually brilliant that they're doing it because it's, although what good does it do them if it's free? Like what, they put all this work into this and upgrading it.
Oh, you get the player counts upgraded. There might be people who didn't buy it originally, and now they'll want to buy this PS5 version.
For $10,
money.
It's on sale for $10 right now.
Yeah. I
guess it's money, but
yeah, of course, yeah, and just goodwill for the brand, and you get people in, maybe they'll buy the DLC, stuff like that.
It'll make the show more popular too.
Honestly, like I was looking on Facebook and I saw people talking about watching Fallout, and they loved it. And they said, "I didn't even know it was a video game series, but now I want to buy it."
Oh, there you go.
So, new fans from the TV show too.
There you go.
It's one of the most merchandised video game series ever, but people didn't know about it. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
There's Fallout merch for everything.
True. All right, well, that's the news. I want to remind everybody very quickly before we move on about our Patreon. If you'd like to get some early access to our episodes each week, or maybe some bonus episodes, you can do so by donating to our Patreon. It helps pay for the show and helps us purchase games for review that we then, in turn, give away to the community. We don't keep a dime for ourselves, guys. Nobody on the show is getting paid. Everything
True, believe me. The Gaming Outsider won't buy me a Steam Deck. Can you believe how outrageous that is?
I know.
I'm
We're
really sorry,
Zach.
man. We'll start a GoFundMe or a get your Venmo up on the site so we can all pitch in and get you a Steam Deck. If you lived here, man, you could just borrow mine whenever you wanted.
I understand.
Just saying. But anyway, we've got different tiers. The $1 tier gets you early access. $3 tier gets you an extra episode. $5 gets you 2 bonus episodes. And our most recent episode is our Final Fantasy VII Rebirth spoiler cast. Zach and I sat down with Brandon Smith and had, 2-hour conversation about that game. And as Zach mentioned to me via text this week, we could have talked for like another 2 hours easily about everything that went on in that game. But it was a great conversation. Also coming up in the near future, Kevin and I are doing a trade-off episode. He wants me to play let's see, what's it called? Evolution, the World of Sacrifice World of Sacred Device on Dreamcast, and he's going to play Paper Mario because that new one's coming out. Well, not new one, but the remake of Thousand Year Door is coming out, and want to get wet his whistle with that game. And then Break the Seal. Zach, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be out of town next weekend. I'm taking my Steam Deck with me for the plane to finish Sands of Time. So I think it's time for you to fire up the old Lone Ranger.
I got a pony up. Play some Lone Ranger.
Exactly. Exactly. It's because we're going to do a Break the Seal episode on both of those games, because Zack has never played The Lone Ranger, and I've never played, this is the first time I've played Sands of Time, so looking forward to that. It's crazy that you never played The Lone Ranger, man, being a Western fan and all.
Yeah, well, you were a huge gamer when Sands of Time came out, man. That was a big game.
Well, can I tell you, I should probably say this for the podcast when we actually record it, but I was working at Blockbuster when that game came out. And the kid that I was working with, like my boss, the manager on duty, he was a big gamer, and he was one of those guys. Stop me if you know anybody like this, but that always has to be the expert on everything that's being talked about.
Oh, okay, sure.
And
was he often the first to do things as well?
Yeah, and we were talking about Sands of Time, and he's like, "Oh, that game sucks. It's too easy." Like you just rewind time and just do it over again. It's really, really easy. Like, don't even waste your time. And for whatever reason, that stuck in my head, and I just never got around to playing it. So,
even though you're not a known fan of hard games,
right? Like, I like some easy games, but like I was very young, and very much like if someone gives me advice, I'm gonna take it because I just assume everybody's smarter than me. Sadly, I never outgrew that. But
yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into that. I'm really looking forward to hearing Zack's impressions of The Lone Ranger, because I think that is, in my opinion, the most underrated NES game. Like, there's
okay. I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to try it out. But let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. All right, Zack, anything new coming out on the horizon that we should check out this week?
Sure. Major JRPG release Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes comes to all consoles and PC April 23rd. That is the Suikoden spiritual follow-up. That's exciting. Right. Lunar Lander Beyond coming to all consoles and PC April 23rd. Tales of Kenzera Cow comes to PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC on April 23rd. Sucker for Love Date to Die For, which I learned is not the first Sucker for Love game.
Yeah, Alyssa reviewed those as well, man.
Yeah.
No, I actually have not reviewed one of those games.
Oh, no?
Yeah. No, well, the name sounded familiar, that's why I looked into it. That one I did vaguely remember. All right? I'm not totally gone, okay?
You remember stuff when it involves me.
Yeah, it's true. How could I forget? Scott, he looks jealous. Comes to PC April 23rd.
No, I'm sorry about that, Scott.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants comes to all consoles and PC April 23rd.
That's the arcade one, right? Like the one that was an arcade machine?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember anything anymore, man. Life's a blur to me.
We're both getting in our 30s, you know.
Another Crab's Adventure, the Crab Souls-like, comes to all consoles and PC April 25th. Fallout 4 finally makes its way to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles on April 25th, as discussed. And then Saga Emerald Beyond comes to PS5, PS4, Switch, PC, iOS, and Android on April 25th. The latest in that JRPG series. Scott, my good friend, who I remember everything about, what are you looking forward to from this list here?
How much are you going to judge me if I say Fallout 4?
That's acceptable. I thought Tales of Kenzera looked like a game you would dig. A little 2D gear-gated game.
Yeah.
But I think you're all jazzed up on Fallout. I understand.
I mean, for good
Zero
reasons.
judgment here.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to get jazzed after. I mean, we're going to get to that for sure. But I don't know. I mean, it does look really good. Looks like my kind of game, but I feel like I just got done. I mean, Lost Crown was a pretty lengthy gear-gated game, right?
And this one kind of looks... obviously it couldn't have been mimicking Lost Crown, but it has enough vibes that are similar to me to where I'm like, I kind of just played one of these.
Yeah. Like when I was done with Rebirth, I did not want to jump into Dragon's Dogma 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? I needed I want to say palate cleanser because that makes it sound like the game was bad. I just need something severely different. But
I do believe though, if you have the PS Plus, the bonus, the whatever
extra tier,
it'll be available day one to play. So I don't think you would have to actually buy it if you have those tiers.
I don't.
One of those tiers.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
They're a pretty bad deal.
Yeah, I don't have it either. But for anyone that does have it and you want to play that game, it'll be available day one on PlayStation Plus. Just a heads up.
It gives me Ori vibes as well, like with the dashing and stuff.
I can see that, absolutely. But it's a Fallout 4 for you, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, it does look cool, but I think I'm going to wait for a sale on that one and just go back into a 9-year-old game. That still blows my mind that the game is 9 years old. Holy cow.
And think about how much longer it'll be until Fallout 5.
I don't even know. Like, we don't have an announcement for that.
No. Xbox owns enough studios. It doesn't have to be Bethesda that makes it.
No, but if you want to really strike while the iron is hot, man, like Alyssa was saying earlier, people see the show and they're like, oh, I really like that show. I'd like to play the game. Well, here's this 9-year-old game. Sure, there are going to be some people that do that, but there's this brand new Fallout 5 coming out.
That would get people excited, of course. Or the much requested New Vegas remaster.
Yes, I would play that one again, too. I only played through that one once. I say only. Those games are like 60 hours long or something.
Right? Yeah.
What about you, Alyssa? Anything on this list exciting you?
2 games piqued my interest. Of course, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes looks really awesome, and that is going to be available on Game Pass if you have it. I've never played Suikoden. I don't know how to say it. But it looks intriguing. And then of course Sucker for Love, Date to Die For, which I believe is the second game in the series. I could be wrong though. I have not played the first one, but I think the stories are different, and it does look interesting, and I've read the synopsis, and sounds like it'd be up my alley. Definitely want to play that one as well. So those are my 2.
Very cool. I think for me, if I had to pick one, it would be Another Crab's Treasure. The little crab roll Souls-like. Yeah. I thought the game looked more adorable before it was a Souls-like, and that actually kind of turned me off a little bit. But I don't know. Yeah, if the game's coming out this week, that's probably the one that looks the most interesting to me.
I saw a random YouTube comment, and I did not get the person's username. I did not come up with this, but they called it Sheldon Ring.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So whoever came up with that, they're not listening to this probably, but you're a genius.
They should have just called the game Sheldon Ring.
I know.
You sold 5 million more copies.
They would have got so sued.
How? You can't. That's not the same thing.
I know.
I'm pretty sure. It's especially you'd be protected under parody law. All kinds of things would protect you.
I guess if Pal World can get away with what they did, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Just fine.
Sheldon Ring. Great.
That's pretty good. Pepper Grinder, Scott, much talked about. A lot of excitement coming in this release. You were interested in it.
I was Pepper? So much that I bought it. I did not get a review copy of this one. I tried, but alas, I had to actually.
Devolver said no, thank you.
No, they didn't say anything. They just straight up ignored me. So I tried, but so I went ahead and bought it. It's $15.
Devolver's pretty good at picking out winners. Usually. Yeah,
and it's funny as I keep hearing people talk about this. Is it is a Devolver game, which they're not the developer.
It's like how everyone's always like it's an A24 film. Like, well, it's just a production company,
right? Yeah. Now the developer, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is the
like
is it
REC
or MP2 games? I had to play this one as soon as I saw the trailer. Which the first thing I'm going to say, if you saw the first trailer for this game, it was this really cool anime trailer, kind of giving the story of what's going on in this game, like no gameplay. And the first trailer I saw, that looks kind of cool, but I want to see the game. And then they later on showed the trailer. So the game comes out, that sequence, that animation style, like nowhere in the game.
Yeah,
like the game starts with you like washed up. You're washed up on a shore. Your boat's crashed and your treasure's all over the place. A bunch of pirates pick up your stuff and take off with it, and you go after them. That is the entire story of the game, man. That's it. And you just go through these levels, fight bosses until you come across the person that stole the stuff from you, and you fight them, and then you fight their boss as the final boss of the game. That's the entire story. There's no dialogue. There's no opening. Like, here's this character's name and what they're doing and what they're doing. No, you just wake up and you're crash landed. It's kind of crazy.
The story trailer is kind of like an NES instruction manual. It's where all the real story is.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, the game is a lot of fun. It is so. The first thing that you get is this drill that attaches to your arm, and you constantly have to use this drill to burrow through certain parts of the earth. And it basically, at that point, the earth turns into water. So it's like you're digging through it, kind of like Dig Dug style. But the earth always replenishes behind you. So like it always is filling back in. So that means you can turn around and go use it again. It's not like if you burrow these tunnels, it's going to be an issue and you can't use it again. It's like
this is one planet that's not dying.
Exactly. But from that point on, it is A to B. It's like Mario. You've got an overworld map. There are 4 levels in every level, and then a boss. Oh, and then there's a hidden level that you can unlock by purchasing these keys that you use by collecting gold medallions that are hidden throughout the levels. But the game is really clever about how it has you do something different with this drill in each world. Like they're all biomes. One's a snow world, one's a desert world, one's, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's pretty,
we've played
standard.
Platformers. Yeah.
But it's all really clever because not only are you burrowing through this, but you're also having to time a jump. So like you have to jump out of whatever it is to be able to jump higher into the air. So it takes a second to get the timing down about when to press that button, and you're emerging from the sand to reach different things. You get a grappling hook that allows you to reach higher areas and swing across. But the really fun part of it is just discovering what they do with each level, but also traversing through them because you're collecting these gems, and it feels very much like a game that's built for speedrunning. Because not only are you collecting these gems, but every time you collect a gem, it picks up a timer above your head, like a streak timer. Like I got this gem without a gap in between the next gem. So I'm assuming there's a way to make it through each level without ever stopping getting gems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I don't have the patience for that. But it's really clever that it's there. The bosses are big and exciting in a pixelated kind of way. Most of them have to do with burrowing underground and jumping up the right time to hit the boss while dodging bullets. And I actually really appreciate one boss. Are you going to play it? I don't know if this is considered a spoiler. Like how you defeat a boss. Is that going to be a spoiler?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are, man.
Okay, well, I'll be somewhat vague.
Skip forward a minute if you're worried. I'm not worried about it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, if you're gonna play Pepper Grinder and you don't want like how you beat a boss spoiled, skip ahead 1 minute. There's one boss at the end of one world that you've been fighting all these enemies by burrowing underneath and jumping up and attacking, like I said. And I started doing that, and it was very, very difficult. I quickly realized that this boss is a piece of cake if you actually don't burrow underground and just treat it like a normal platformer. The game never teaches you that. I just tried it, and all of a sudden the pattern was super simple, and I was able to beat the boss without taking a hit. I just thought that was very cool that a boss at the end of a level, like the entire world, you beat it by not doing the mechanic that the game taught you this entire game.
Right, that's
which
clever,
is so cool. It's just very, very cool stuff like that. So Pepper Grinder is very satisfying, with the burrowing and trying to keep that momentum going, like you do with the Sonic game. It's not a Sonic game, to be clear, but it's got that good feel to it. I will say it's going to make your hand hurt a little bit because in order to run the drill, you have to be holding down the R button, the right trigger button with your right hand, and then you're also doing face buttons and for the jump and the maneuvering with the left stick as well. And holding down that R button makes your hand get really uncomfortable because you're holding it down for almost the entire time.
Well, you don't have to push it down so hard, Scott.
I think it's just that my hands are too big, or maybe I should do it with a pro controller or something like that. I just it's a minor thing. It's only like a 3.5 hour game, 4 hour game.
Okay,
really short. So
and linear, which is nice.
Yeah. And like I said, there's replayability to it as well because there's 5 gold medallions in each stage, and they're not always obvious. Like how when you play a Mario game and they got the purple coins or whatever, and it's like, oh, I see it, I just don't know how to get to it. These are like, you got to really think outside the box how to come across them, but they're not overly difficult. So and then like I said, you can use those coins to unlock another harder stage, which is kind of fun. So I had fun with it, put my time through it, beat it, enjoyed it. I don't know that I'll play it again, but I was very happy to pay the $15 for a 4-hour game, which is something I don't often say, but I really enjoyed it.
Anyway, so you recommend it easily, huh?
I do recommend it. Yes, like I said, if you don't, as long as you don't mind short games, but it's a very clever take on the platforming genre, and I do recommend it. Alyssa, you are playing Dr. Cat.
Yes.
Which, on one level, of course you're going to play a game called Dr. Cat.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other level, you've told me repeatedly that you hate puzzle games. And that is all this thing is a puzzle. I mean, you're literally doing jigsaw puzzles. So what is it about? Is it the cats? Is it the mental health that really makes you enjoy this game? Or what drew you to Dr. Cat?
Pretty much everything. I don't enjoy puzzle games, that's true. But I do like jigsaw puzzles.
Okay.
So that's kind of the exception to the rule, but really what drew me to it is you play as a cat psychologist, and you have 12 patients come in, and each patient has a different mental health issue, and they tell you what's going on, and then you solve a jigsaw puzzle, and that image reveals what they're going through. But as you're solving the puzzle, the patient chimes in more with how they're feeling about the situation or what triggered the situation. And that part was really, really interesting to me because I'm a huge, advocate for mental health awareness and acceptance, and I think they did a really good job on that front. And then also having, the jigsaw puzzle uncover, once you put it together, it uncovers the root of the, whatever's going on for the patient.
Right.
It's also really interesting. I was a little unsatisfied after the puzzle, though, because, it feels very realistic to actually going to a psychologist if you've ever been to one, where they say the same line after every patient in this game, and that's basically, it takes a lot of strength to admit you are going through this, insert name here. We'll work together to overcome it, and then you never see that patient again. So it's like, they tell you what's going on, but then there's not a follow through with it.
So the whole point is just to figure out the problem, but not actually to do anything to fix it?
Yes. Which I was kind of hoping for a little more of that with the game, to follow through with it, see the patient again. No. You just find out what's going on with them. Which, they do cover a diverse group of mental health issues like depression, binge eating, gambling addiction, so on and so forth. But this is really just like a laid back game. You're not in a rush to complete these puzzles.
No timer.
There's no timer. There are a couple of achievements if you want to get everything that you have to finish a puzzle in under, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But, you don't have to. Just take your time with it. There's an easy mode and normal mode when you first play through, and even on normal, it's pretty simple. You do unlock hard mode after you complete all 12 puzzles, but I don't really have a desire to go back and play through those puzzles on a harder difficulty. But again, if you want to get all the achievements, you do have to play through them on hard.
Can you start on hard and get all the achievements? Are they stacked?
It won't let you start on hard. You have to actually finish the game before it unlocks hard mode. So you either choose easy or normal, and normal is pretty simple, so I'm assuming easy is probably very easy.
Mm-hmm.
But even on normal, I completed the game in 2 hours. So,
oh wow!
It's $5 on Xbox and PlayStation. So, if you're looking for a game to chill out with that addresses some mental health issues, it's not going to go through it fully. That features a cat psychologist that has fellow animal patients. Most of them are cats, but you get the occasional elephant or something.
As you do.
Yeah.
It's worth $5, I'd say.
Okay.
It's actually cheaper on Steam. You can get it for $2 on Steam, helping people out there.
If you
have a PC or a Steam Deck. I'm assuming a Steam Deck verified. I did not actually check that. So, check that. Make sure it is. I don't see why it would not be, but, low price point. I was hoping for a little more follow through with the patients and maybe to see them again. But overall, it's just a chill chill game that teaches you a little bit about mental health and different situations people can be going through and how it can make them feel. But I mean, it's not super deep, but it's fun enough and impactful enough to, make an impression. It's just, I don't know if you'll want to replay it again after you finish it, because I don't really have a desire to return to it. But
okay. Does a
it was a
cat
good 2
ever
hours.
prescribe? Hey, can you?
No.
Have you ever considered going and just tearing up that scratching post, or
No, that would be
Just
hilarious. But
ruin
no,
your friend's couch. That'll make you feel better.
yeah.
the cat does not give advice about anything, which is also sadly accurate a lot of times to psychologists.
Hmm.
So
That's
yeah,
just-
you hear you're brave and strong for telling me this. We'll help overcome this together. Goodbye.
They get the
That's
step
sadly
one.
very realistic.
Oh,
Um,
sorry to hear that.
no,
Anyway.
you gotta go through a lot of psychologists if you deal with this kind of stuff. Anyway, if you're looking for a chill puzzle game with cats and a couple of other animals, I mean, you could do a lot worse.
All right. That is Dr. Cat. Like she said, she is playing that on Xbox, but it's also available on PlayStation and PC. Comes from developer Headway Games and was published by Aphil Games. Or maybe I have that backwards. Is
I
the
think
developer
the
Aphil?
developer's Aphil and
Yeah, my bad.
publisher's Headway.
My bad. So yeah, check that out. All right, Alyssa, you're gonna have to indulge us for a
Yeah.
minute.
And I feel bad about being the only one left out.
No, that's totally fine. I
It's
just
my
assumed.
fault.
It's totally
It's my
fine.
fault. But you guys, you both have watched this, right?
Not all of it.
But you've watched some.
Yes.
You both have watched some.
How far did you get, Scott?
I'm on episode 4.
Oh, okay.
How about you?
Further than me.
Okay.
I'm 20 minutes into episode 2, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to make sure I was talking to both of you guys.
And to be clear,
about-
we're not going to give any spoilers
Yeah.
or anything like that. But
I figured you wouldn't. But what we're going to talk about is Fallout on Amazon Prime Video,
Mhm.
and of course, a lot of people have been buzzing about it. Again, I feel bad for having not watched it yet because I'm a huge fan of Fallout 3 in New Vegas, and it looks really interesting. I'm just stuck in K-drama world. But you guys,
Can't break free for even 1 hour.
I can't. No, like
No.
my brain's like, we're only watching K-dramas. But you guys have watched some episodes.
Mhm.
How is it? Like, is it as good as people are saying it is? Like, does it stick to some of the game storylines and characters, or is it a completely new entity in the Fallout universe?
Well, from my understanding, exists within the game's continuity,
Okay.
which is kind of cool.
Mhm.
It's a fun way to approach it.
Mhm.
But I mean, as for like the look and feel of it, I think they nailed it. It's Fallout through and through. It's really nice to watch a video game TV show that is not embarrassed about its origins.
correct.
Yeah.
Every episode starts with like Bethesda Game Studios is right there in the logos, and even like something like Twisted Metal, kind of changed some things to be a little less video game oriented. But this is just like the Brotherhood of Steel Armor looks exactly as it does in the games. There's Pip Boys everywhere.
Which is awesome.
Even the
Vault
screens on the Pit Boys look
yes,
just like they do in the game.
uh,
There are
so
stim
that
packs.
is-
There are jets.
yes, you're right. Even Stimpaks, and it even like overly heals wounds as it does in the games.
Yeah, like just
You know?
like somebody's like mortally wounded and they just stick a stim pack in them and they're good.
Yes.
Like seconds later.
It is pretty awesome. It's really refreshing to see. So I don't know. I've been impressed on that front. Just as gory as the games.
I was not expecting that, honestly.
There's a couple deaths where I'm like, well, that person has a bloody mess perk.
Yeah, right.
It's really cool. Like headshots exploding heads off sort of thing. It's
awesome.
it's very Fallout. So yeah, man, it's way cool. It's a little hornier than the games is, or at least the first episode.
Yeah.
But
That tones down.
okay.
I've noticed with TV shows, they typically do that with the first episode.
They're
And
trying
then
to reel you in.
Yeah,
Tone it down,
lure you
yeah.
in. Check out this dude's butt, so you'll stick
I
around.
see what you guys are doing in TV world. in America.
Yeah. But it's it's the first episode at least was very impressive, and of course it has Walton Goggins, which makes anything better.
Yes.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Which the cast is great. I mean, I've loved Ella Purnell and everything I've seen her in. It's that Kyle MacLachlan who was Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks, one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, the cat, and of course Walton Goggins. He's wonderful in everything he's in. So yeah, the cast is definitely a draw. I really need to make myself watch this, but
even just the first episode. Have you played? You've played the games?
I've played Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I tried to get into 4 and I couldn't for some reason, but I need to retry because something about the power armor was throwing me off of that game for some reason.
The thing that I want to talk to somebody that has not played Fallout and see how they like it, because I love it, but I'm worried that I love it because they give such a nod to its source material, like Zach was talking about, I'm intrigued by the story. I feel like it's a little predictable so far in terms of before things started happening in episode 2 and 3, I knew where it was going, especially with Maximilian's character. It was just very much telegraphed to me what was going to happen with him. But
Maximus?
Did I say Maximilian? Maximus.
You did.
Yeah. Sorry. I like his character, by the way. I really like his character.
I feel like he's kind of a dweeb in the first episode.
He is. Honestly, I was watching it yesterday, and I was like, man, they're really going for the Ray and what's his name, Finn. You know,
Ray and Finn. Kylo.
No,
Ray and Finn.
Ray and Finn.
Oh, Ray and Finn.
Like in terms of the girl from the vault, Lucy and Maximus feel very Ray and Finn. Although Lucy is not a Ray in terms of she's not as cool. I don't get Ray
and Finn vibes at all. Personally,
man, I don't know.
I mean, he's not even. Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
I love the nods, like the little things. There's one spot, I don't even know if it's where you are, Zach, but there's a shop, and then there's a mini nuke sitting in a glass store shelf, and then I don't know if this was intentional or not, but there's like a Vault Boy party hat, which if you remember from when they were announcing Fallout 76, and the party hats were when they were doing that live stream thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember that.
There was a surprise, and I won't. There was an actor in the show that I did not know was in the show. It was kind of a fun surprise. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, Zach, or if you already knew.
If it's the person in episode 2, then yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's he's introduced at the very beginning of episode 2.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, oh, this is fun. So
sure.
that was cool. I'm really intrigued, and I will tell you that the nods and the things like that continue, at least up to where I am. They keep introducing new things that you will recognize from the games. But it never feels like in your face.
Is there a death claw?
Not yet to where I am.
Right.
Not to where I am.
Gotta be a death claw, right?
And a super mutant. So? There's gotta be a super mutant.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about super mutant.
I think my favorite thing of the whole thing though, so far, was the opening sequence. The way they introduce this universe was very, very solid.
The first shot of the entire show is of a cowboy, so I knew it was going to be a pretty good time.
Yeah.
How to get Zack into your show,
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Walton Goggins playing a cowboy,
Yep.
which is cool because when because he's in the intro, but later he's a ghoul, but he's basically just a gunslinger ghoul.
Yep.
Yeah, he
exactly
feels like he walked out of a spaghetti western into Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very cool.
And I don't know how they do that makeup, because it really looks like his nose is going into his head.
Yeah. I assume it has to be some kind of he's wearing a green sock on his nose or something.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, they can do really amazing prosthetics.
But it still looks like him.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah. It's really wonderful makeup effects. This is from the guy that made Westworld, right?
I don't know.
Jonathan Nolan? I believe
Jonathan Nolan, yeah.
Jonathan Nolan.
I am enjoying it, and I'm you're gonna get off and play more Balatro. I'm gonna get off here and go watch some more Fallout, because I'm invested.
I'm just I just don't have the binging blood in me.
I'm not really able to binge shows either, to be honest. I can do 2 episodes, and then I gotta take a break.
I mean, I only finished 3. So
I just don't want to, like, if I like the show, why would I want it to be over with so fast?
True,
I wish this were released week to week because there are people that have already been like, I've already finished the entire thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Prime Video usually does weekly or 2 a week releases.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd they released all the episodes at once.
To me, it said that they didn't
something.
believe in it. That's what the vibe I got from it was.
Yeah.
I miss having that something to look forward to watch each week. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I sound old school saying that, I know, but I did that with what was the Disney one? WandaVision. Every Wednesday I looked forward to seeing what they were going to do with WandaVision. I know you didn't like that one as much, but I dug it.
Who didn't like WandaVision?
I thought you didn't.
I love WandaVision.
Oh, did you?
I loved
okay,
WandaVision as well. Yeah.
That's a great show.
Each episode was like just like a completely different decade of television. I just loved that.
I didn't like the weird witch fight at the end, but that was about it.
Yeah, kind of silly. Yeah. Anyway, Fallout. We're digging it. It's not really a game, but it's clearly inspired by a game.
Michael Emerson's in this show as well.
Oh, that's who I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that. I thought that was like they were.
I thought you were talking about the guy under the helmet.
Oh, I didn't know who that was. Was I supposed to know who that was?
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't. But all right,
I'm gonna have to go.
About guy who's under helmet.
I didn't recognize him. I will have to look it up, or we'll have to talk after.
Fast forward 30 seconds.
Okay.
You don't know who Michael Rappaport is?
I know who that is.
Like the guy from Friends?
Phoebe's cop boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
I did not recognize that as him.
Oh man, yeah, he was in that. Sorry, Alyssa.
I don't care.
I had to get this out.
That doesn't feel like a super spoilery thing at all.
Well, because they disguise his voice up until then.
Well, yeah, but it's like, and there's a reason for that.
Me knowing that.
Yeah. No, anyway, Michael Emerson doesn't feel like a spoiler because I swear he was in. Was he not in the trailer? He's that when you go to the page to watch the show, he's all over that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought that was like hey, by the way, Ben Linus is in the show. You know what I mean? I thought that's what that was. So
you'll never guess this kind of character he's playing. He's a lot like Benjamin Linus.
Yeah. Very much so. Anyway, that's Fallout. I will probably have it finished by next week. Maybe. I don't know. I keep trying to watch it. I fall asleep watching the first episode, and I woke up and I was on episode 5. I had to go back. And
oh, wow.
And Amazon doesn't let you like play this one and don't play the next one kind of thing. I wish it did that. But anyway, that is Fallout. Let's go ahead. I got one more review for you guys. Sean Coates stopped by to talk about Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered. You're going to want to hear that review. I'll play that for you right now. Well, hello there, Mr. Sean Coates. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Newly engaged, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up if you didn't. Congratulations, man. She said yes when you get married.
Yeah, no Jedi mind tricks were required.
Yeah? When are you getting married?
Not sure. Probably sometime next year.
Very cool, man. Well, I wish you all the best, man. I have not met her in person because when you came out here, you didn't bring her. So, or wait, did I meet her? No, I didn't meet her, did I?
No, when I went out to RTV2, it was just me. She's actually in North Carolina right now for work, which is why she couldn't come to RTV2 because she was out in North Carolina for work.
Very cool. Well, I wanted to have you on because you played a game that none of us checked out, and I've actually never even played the original version of this game. The game is Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered, which this is released in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to call it a Doom clone?
Yeah, it kind of is. It is it is Star Wars' first person shooter in the ever for the franchise. And yeah, you could call it a Doom clone if you were in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. And it released on, I know it was on PC, but I remember seeing it on PlayStation, the original PlayStation. Mm-hmm. But they have basically touched it up and made it available on consoles. This is Aspire, correct?
No, this is actually Night Dive.
Night Dive, I'm sorry. Night Dive Studio. And I know very little about this game. It's a game that I just dodged for some reason, and which is weird because I love Star Wars. But after reading your review, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com, this is kind of the original story of finding the Death Star plans that eventually got rewritten as Rogue One. Am I understanding that correctly?
Kind of. Actually, the very first first level of the game is you are infiltrating the base that has the Death Star plans, and it's the first level. So actually, that's the only part of the game that takes place before A New Hope, but the rest of it takes place in between New Hope and Empire.
Oh, okay. So tell me about the game, because I know from reading a review that you were a massive fan of this game back in the 90s. Does it still hold up, and what differences do we have in this one?
Oh, it absolutely does hold up. Actually, I have more nostalgia of sorts with the PlayStation version versus the PC version.
Okay.
Actually, I recently booted up the PlayStation version, and oh my god, is it bad?
Yeah.
Compared to today. Like, it came out before PlayStation 1 had analog controls, so it was released with a stickless controller,
Gotcha.
So it's pretty outdated in that regard. But this new one, which I played on Switch, because being able to play this on the go sounded intriguing to me. They did a fantastic job of touching up the textures and the sprites and the mapping and all that, and it runs amazing even on Switch.
I even saw in the trailer some of the cutscenes like were kind of redrawn. They still have a pixelated look to them and kind of that comic book, like we're going to just move a massive frame to show some minor animation, but it still looks a lot better in the trailer. Does that translate well to the Switch?
Absolutely, it does, both in docked and handheld. But I mentioned in the review that the new artwork for the cutscenes is reminiscent of the original concept drawings that was done by Ralph McQuarrie.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of has that kind of polished sheen look to it now, which
now,
is actually kind of fitting.
One of the things that worried me a bit from reading a review is the complexity of the levels themselves. Because, my biggest question with any remaster is, for somebody like me that's never played it, am I going to have a good time or am I going to be frustrated? So can you kind of answer that for me with what you said in the review and tell me if I should pick this up?
You might get a little frustrated. I certainly was when I replayed this game again, because it's been 20 some odd years since I've played it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you can call it a Doom clone if you want to, but that's still a reductive description, because this was still a pioneering first-person shooter in general.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first game to allow you to look up and down, first of all.
Oh,
you couldn't do that in Doom even. So,
right.
like, if you had a stormtrooper or an enemy above you, you can actually tilt up and get him, whereas in Doom, you just had to shoot in the general direction, and it would just magically hit the target,
Yeah.
So now, with the Jedi engine, which is what they used back in the day, it allowed for more level complexity. It can actually stack levels on top of each other rather than just have it be one big arena.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still a pioneer in that regard.
So should I play it? Do you recommend me checking it out?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Forces?
That's the thing I was going to get to. I'm sorry, I missed the point. Because they wanted to show off that they can put levels on top of each other, they kind of went a little too far as a look what we can do, and as a result, the levels are very maze-like. It can be it can get very, very easy for you to get lost.
I'm okay with that as long as the enemies don't respawn. You know what I mean? Where if I have time to kind of navigate the maze and figure it out without having to keep fighting enemies and worrying about dying.
No, luckily they do not respawn. In fact, their lifeless sprite bodies will stay there, so that actually kind of helps you. You kind of create
it's
your
a landmark.
It's a little breadcrumb trail.
Mm-hmm.
But it can still get confused, and there are level puzzles that you have to figure out, and it doesn't do a very good job. It never did in the first place. Do a very good job of showing you what the puzzle even is, let alone how to solve it.
Gotcha.
That is a kind of a gripe I've always had playing this for 20 years.
Well, hey, if Myst could get away with it, they're like, we can just do it in here, right?
That's true.
Myst never explained anything, so
that's very true, and you couldn't shoot anything in that game.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to check this one out because, like I said, I never picked it up. And is the story good? Does it add anything to the lore of Star Wars, even though it's not really the same anymore, right?
No, unfortunately it has been considered non-canon.
Mm-hmm.
But Kyle Katarn, the character you play, is over the years has become a big Star Wars fan favorite, and this game actually spawned the Jedi Knight series.
Oh, okay.
So in this game, Kyle is only a simple rebel mercenary for the rebellion, but later on he becomes a Jedi Knight. And actually, this features something that fans these days are clamoring for, and that's to have a Star Wars story with absolutely no lightsabers in it.
Right, yeah.
I know a lot of people these days, like, what was it, Mandalorian. They were like, oh my god, the first Star Wars story to have no lightsabers, and then they had a
Sure
lightsaber,
enough.
and people went, ugh,
Yeah, right,
so if you want a lightsaberless Star Wars story, Dark Forces is for you.
All right, man. You might have sold me on it. So again, that is Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered. You're playing on Switch, but it's available on all consoles and PC, correct?
That is true.
All right, I may have to check that one out. Sean, thanks so much for stopping by and sharing your experience with that, man.
You got it.
All right, we'll catch you next time, okay?
See ya.
Moving along, we got some quick housekeeping. I mentioned Facebook. We got some new members over there. Nitesh Kumar was our last one, and then now Joel Kenyon and Ryan Baeto. Welcome to the Facebook group. And also, as a reminder, we got Discord. We got a place for reviews. If you could do us a favor on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, we will read it on the show for you. And lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. There you can listen to every episode as well as read all of our reviews. And Alyssa's review for Noctuary is up, as well as my review for Mighty Mage will be up by the time you hear this, and my review for Pepper Grinder will be up as well. I'm missing one.
Will Dr. Cat be up?
Dr. Cat will be up as well, yes, thank you. So those are all on.
He had to take a brief pause to remember what game he was talking about.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding
The
around.
dad joke.
You're just kidding. That's the second time you pulled that joke in 1
You're
week,
just
man.
kidding around.
No, that was Kevin was the one who did the kitten joke. Thank you
Did
very
he?
much.
Okay. There
Yeah.
you
So
go.
the pause joke, it is the second time I've done this week. However, the listeners didn't know that. Now you're telling them about our private conversations. They don't know
that's
this.
True.
For all they know, they're like, man, this is a banger joke. Nobody's ever used pause in place of pause before. This is the first time I've heard such a banger
Yeah.
joke.
They never used it like in Bubsy when you press start on the
Or
controller.
or so many cat conversations
Yeah.
ever.
It's
Let
not
me-
like
let
it's
me-
on a bunch of coffee mugs all the time.
Let me ask you this, and this is important. Does February, March? I don't know, but April, May?
April Fool's Day, so you just throwing the dad jokes? I'm supposed to be the dad joke guy. Come on.
Yeah, well, I know you've been frustrated in class lately, so I was trying to get those teacher cracks in there.
Ah,
Yeah.
I
Or,
appreciate it.
I was having your back.
He's trying to lift the burden from you for a little bit.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
I got to
it.
make up for forgetting all about Undermine. I've got to do everything I can to make it up to you now.
I don't know why you're feeling bad about that. It's not that big a deal.
Uh.
Well, let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. This week's From the Outside In topic, much like last week's, is also Zack's idea. He thought it'd be fun to admit to the times we spent money on certain DLCs from games that we've played. Zack, why do we feel embarrassed about paying extra money for extra content in games we already like? Shouldn't we? We should be ashamed about that, should we?
Quick note, you don't have to give me credit every time I brainstorm the topic. Just so you know. We're a
I want
group.
to encourage you to come up with more topics
Oh,
because
that's what
I
you're
am
trying to
running
do?
out of ideas. Positive
Yeah.
reinforcement, man.
There's the teacher in you. There it is. It's like when I got answers right in math class and I get a little Tootsie Roll.
There you go.
Then
I
didn't
do
want to see the class anymore.
marshmallows.
You
Kids
got a
love
Tootsie
marshmallows.
Roll? I just got a gold star, and that was very rare because I sucked at math.
Hey man, I slept every day in math class until they started doing the treats thing, and then I was awake every day.
Oh yeah,
I'm open to bribery.
like Tootsie Roll.
I probably would have tried harder at math if they would have given me candy.
I'm also anti Tootsie Roll.
Thank you.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
chocolate and
But-
vanilla
but
mixed
it-
together. I don't know what's
But
going on
it's
there.
free, so what am I going to
Yeah.
do? Say no?
I can see
Anyway, Tootsie Rolls have nothing to do with microtransactions.
that. No, they don't.
I assume that we feel embarrassed because we have been trained by the internet writ large that these are bad for you, right?
Mhm.
And they often are, because things like horse armor, which has got to be the most infamous piece of DLC ever,
Mhm.
like they're totally unnecessary, and they're things often that used to just be in games.
Right.
Like so many things you can buy in games are just cheat codes formerly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or skins you would earn through like beat the game out hard mode, and now you get this classic costume. But now it's like pre-order or pay $5.99 for this classic costume.
Yeah. You can earn it, or you can pay us up front and get it now.
Yes, yeah, or in some cases you can't earn it. The only way to get it is to buy it.
Yeah.
In single player games. So I assume we feel shame about that, and then there are other things where it's so obvious, like let's say Javik in Mass Effect 3, the Prothean you can have as a party member, that it that is such an essential part of the lore that them charging $10 for it is despicable, and yet you don't want to play the game without it, do you? So you buy it, and you should feel shame about that because they got you.
Is that, well, you got them if you pre-ordered, because I pre-ordered the game and got them, and then they're like, oh, if you didn't pre-order it, $10 for this essential character.
Yeah, that was kind of that game's battle pass, right?
Yeah.
Or online pass. Remember when they used to do those? Mm. But that sucks. It's like Arkham City. If you didn't pre-order, you didn't get, or if you didn't buy it new, you don't get Catwoman.
Yep.
You know, like that. But what I'm saying is, we fall victim to these things, and we don't feel good about that. But you also don't want to play the game without it. So I can see where the shame comes from, because really, you are kind of giving more power to the publisher,
right?
You know,
well, you're paying with your wallet and giving them, say, see, it works. So we should keep doing this.
You're getting nickeled and dimed, which is just going to make them nickel and dime you so much so that they start pushing back release dates if you don't give them extra money.
Oh, that's the worst. We're gonna give you all this upfront money. We're gonna pre-order your game. We're gonna pre-order the deluxe version, and then they're gonna delay the game.
Yeah. Well, I was talking more about what they call early access.
Yeah.
You pay $15. You can pay 3 days early, but really, if you don't pay us $15, we're going to push back your release date.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because the game's ready to go.
Just not for you.
Right. Yeah. It's a little like getting extorted from the mob. It'd be a real shame if somebody broke up all these jewelry cases, huh? Yeah, but I don't think anybody will. Oh, Don, what a shame. Looks like somebody did. If you had only given us $10, that wouldn't have happened.
Your Brooklyn accent is uncanny, man.
I love it.
Are you being a jerk right now?
No,
I genuinely love it.
He's darting eyes over there. Whatever.
Alyssa, do you feel ashamed admitting you paid for DLC?
I don't think I ever have, unless you're talking about like the case where you got Javik with Mass Effect 3 or Catwoman.
Well, apparently you did it right.
I've never felt embarrassed or ashamed about it. I don't usually feel embarrassed or ashamed about anything I enjoy. But I usually don't buy DLC or microtransactions. It's very rare that I do. So I've never felt bad about it, no.
I feel like I don't buy them often anymore. I feel like I did way more in the Xbox 360 era. Xbox 360, PlayStation.
Well, they were a little less
3.
egregious back then, right?
They were a little less egregious, and I feel like you were actually getting more content for a game instead of just skins and stuff, or new weapons, or whatever. You were getting like an extra chapter of a game to tell like another little side story, or
that's not really. I guess people may feel embarrassed about that, but that stuff's not what I'm thinking of, because that is just more content. You shouldn't feel ashamed about that.
Right.
Like the Prince of Persia epilogue DLC, I remember people were mad about that because oh, it's a real ending. I'm like, well, actually, it's kind of a worse ending, but you get more game out of it. And so I paid $10 for that, and I didn't feel bad, because often, at least back then, games felt complete when they came out. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood feels like a whole game, but then the Da Vinci Disappearance is just like a fun little extra Ezio chapter.
Right. I love that. Or the one that makes me the most angry, and I never paid for it, was Ashura's Wrath, where you had to buy DLC to actually see the story finish, which
that's crap.
Yeah, that's nah.
I never finished the game. I refused. I got a principle. Like I had fun with the game, but not enough to drop more money to finish the game. I don't know if I've ever seen that done again. I'm probably not thinking of one, but like, you got to be kidding me.
I mean, that's the only one where I can remember where a game ends basically with a to be continued.
Yeah, in
this DLC that you have to buy, even though you just paid $60 for this interactive anime.
Yeah. So one where like you're fighting a dude's thumb, like God's thumb that's like coming down on the planet. I remember thinking that was like equally cool and super dumb and fun.
Yeah, well, is it dumb and fun the right way?
Yeah.
That game's cool.
It is cool. So I'm going to start talking about the what we consider the most embarrassing DLC purchases. I got a couple.
You got the horse armor, didn't you?
I did not get the horse armor. And I meant to bring this up when you talked about it earlier. It's so weird that they would do DLC for horse armor that nobody else is going to see. I don't condone it, but I can kind of understand it in a online game where you're showing off this thing that you paid for. to your friends. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool because I got this emote or I got this, outfit or whatever. I still think it's dumb, but at least that kind of makes sense in my head.
Didn't the horse armor actually also not add any defense value? Wasn't it just aesthetic?
Yeah,
right.
That's what I was thinking. It was just
and it was a first-person game.
Yeah. Well, you'll see your horse. He's riding along. He's got that shiny gold armor on. You're like, yeah, money well spent.
It wasn't it like $5 at the time,
I
which
think
was
it was
like
$5,
which was egregious at the time.
Right.
back then. Yeah,
Though I would say I hate to do this. I feel somewhat defensive because you didn't figure it out yet, right? That was like they were still exploring what DLC microtransactions even were.
It's kind of like a test to see. I wonder if people will actually pay for this.
Right. So I guess I can kind of see from that angle, even though $5 is patently absurd.
Right. No, the most ashamed thing I've ever done for microtransactions has got to be like a mobile game. I've dropped money into Candy Crush before.
Really? Candy Crush, really?
Yeah. Not a lot. Like, it was like a one time. Like,
there was some game you used to play all the time.
Yeah.
You were playing it even when we were at E3.
It was like with the three crystals, and like you were like, as a map, you're going across trying to defeat the other guy's crystals. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
no, it was the other one. Oh man, it's been so long, man. It's been 4 or 5 years since I played that game.
But you played dailies like for years in that game.
Yeah,
I only remember this because you were doing your dailies as we were going to the convention center.
Yep,
every day.
Yep, like in the Uber.
I thought it was so interesting.
Yeah. Can't remember what that game was, but
if you didn't finish in the Uber, you would be finishing them up as we were walking up. Like you had to get them done.
I'm that way now with Duolingo. Like
At least that's productive.
I know, right? I'm actually like, my streak I've not like missed that at all. They got the little streak things where like if you miss one, they like they like give you a freeze or whatever.
Yeah, freeze. Yeah,
I've never used a freeze. I actually like my streak is legit.
That's
like,
crazy, dude. That's impressive.
I literally have a reminder on my phone, like, do your Duolingo lesson thing.
Well, if you don't, that owl will annoy the living hell out of you until you do.
Oh, really?
At least on my phone, man. I feel like I'm getting. If I don't do it right away, I get like 4 more notifications. It's like, hey, buddy, you really want to lose that streak freeze? You really want to?
Yeah, they really guilt trip you into doing it.
They're like, it'd be a real shame if you fell into the demotion zone, don't you think?
Oh, I hate when that happens, especially when you just finish your lesson. It's like, you fell into the demotion zone. Come learn more to increase your rank. I'm like, no.
Right. Or, Kylie took your number 2 spot. You gonna let her get away with that, man?
Yeah. Like this
Stupid
month, I've given up on getting into the promotion zone. I'm in the Pearl League. Anyway, wow, this has nothing to do with DLC. No, I've put money into Candy Crush and whatever those 2 games that I could not remember the title of. That's how embarrassed I am that I put money into games that I can't even remember the names of the games. But with the one I had put so many hours into, I almost felt like I wanted to kick in something for the developer. You know what I mean? It's not like they could just snap their fingers and make those games. There's a lot of work that went into them, and I did that. But outside of that, the biggest embarrassing DLC I make is usually buying the deluxe versions of games, especially nowadays with the ones where you get them a few days early. Diablo.
You gonna do that Star Wars Outlaws one?
Nope.
Everyone's mad about. Well,
no.
You learned your lesson, huh?
Well, again, I learned my lesson before that. The only reason I did it with Lost Crown was because I had a day off, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like I still felt dirty, but I really wanted to play the game. And
do you feel dirtier because I give people such a hard time for it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not actually that sorry.
No, but Diablo.
I think that I'm sorry. Like that is a despicable marketing move, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. And the more people do it, the more the gap is going to widen.
Yeah, it's going to be like a week or 2 weeks or a month.
Yeah, but it'll be like, spend. The game's $70. If you give us $180, you can play it 2 weeks early.
Yeah. At that point, you're a beta tester.
Right. Well, no, everyone else is just a suck.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But people have such an obsession with being first and the fear of missing out and everything that it's just going to keep working and working.
Well, I mean, you say despicable, but at some point it's kind of brilliant if you're like
those are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
There's plenty of despicable things that are brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. No, but the games like Diablo 4, I bought that deluxe thing that came with all that season pass stuff. I have never once used that season pass. There's like currency that I got, and there's some extra whatever. Never used any of it. And the reason was I was so high on Diablo 4 coming out because I loved Diablo 3, and I played the living crap out of Diablo 3, and I wanted more, and I could not wait to get into it, and it just didn't click with me like 3 did. I've not even finished the first act of that game, which is weird.
Whoa.
Because I played through Diablo 3 countless times.
That's probably why you couldn't get into Diablo 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that and Far Cry 6, I bought the digital deluxe version of that game. Never beat the game. There's just so many of those games. I just gotta stop doing that. Lost Crown is the only one I actually like. The only thing they gave you was the game 3 days early, and then like an extra skin or something. And I did use that skin until I found a cooler one, but that's like the only time I've actually ever used it and finished the game.
That one worked out then, right?
That one worked out, but one out of however many over the years that I've bought these, like a Fallout 4. We were just talking about that. I was so obsessed with Fallout 4's release. I remember specifically a friend of mine that is on another podcast, his store broke street date for Fallout 4 by like a little less than a week. And I was legit mad, dude. I was so angry that like I couldn't get this game early because I just wanted to play Fallout 4 so badly. And I was envious, so envious. So I bought that one. I've never even done the DLC for Fallout 4, which is what I want, right? We were just talking about like how back in the 360 days, at least you got extra content and extra story missions. Remember the ones in Fallout 3? Like the
they were great.
Oh yeah,
the pit,
and they were so diverse too.
Yeah, there was one like Starship or
Mothership Zeta.
Mothership Zeta.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Just super fun stuff. Or you went to Pittsburgh and you went to like it was like
pit.
actual like meaningful.
Fallout 3 was so good, huh?
I know. I'm debating now if I want to
God.
just jump back into 3 or do
Dude,
4.
Kind of do too now. Yeah.
Just man, but
What an intro! Legendary intro, Fallout 3.
It
was incredible
for so many reasons. Not just one moment. Like just like from birth to going
to
through
hearing
the test.
Liam Neeson's dulcet tones. To
and then like the first time the vault opens and you get that moment. Like that was as someone that didn't play Fallout 1 and 2, that was a moment for me.
Someone who did play Fallout 1 and 2, that was such a moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like seeing it in that, realizing that detail was something else.
And then just the choices you could do with Megaton and good stuff. But those are the big ones. My biggest embarrassments outside of mobile games are going to be like these digital deluxe pre-order these games. I'm just done doing that. I say that, and then something will come out, and I'm kind of a sucker. But what about you guys?
Well, I said before, I don't really do it. Back in the 360 era, I did get some of the deluxe editions of games that came with DLC because you got actual like story content and stuff like that. Nowadays, though, no, I don't really go for the digital deluxe versions or digital physical versions or anything of that nature. I've never purchased a microtransaction in anything.
No? Good for you.
No, but I'm not gonna say I'll never do it because like if some game comes out and they're like, pay $5 and you get a Stray Kids song in this game, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm breaking my rule. Here you go. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna do it. I just haven't to this point in time. But even if I had, I wouldn't feel ashamed for it because, like I said, I'm gonna enjoy what I enjoy. If I want to, buy a certain skin or whatever for it, then I would do that and not feel bad about it. I'm just proud of what I like, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I don't let people shame me for it. So yeah, I just do what I want, and don't feel bad about it.
Okay. How about you, Zach?
Quite respectable. I also used to do those digital deluxe editions for games you're excited for because it would come with the season pass.
Yeah.
But I think Mafia 3 was the game that broke me of that, because I was so excited for Mafia 3 that I got the big edition for it. It came with a season pass, but like I barely even wanted to finish the main game. It was so repetitive that I've never touched any of that DLC, but I paid for it all.
Yeah.
And now I feel so bad. And so often these days, like with Control, I want to say, where you can get the season pass at launch, but usually if you wait, it goes on sale before the first DLC even comes out anyway.
Right.
So it's just like, I may as well wait. You be smarter there. In terms of like actual embarrassment, the things that come to mind are the Nier mobile game. I did get some microtransactions in there. I did.
Yeah, but that's also because he's your boy, right?
Yeah, it was the property
Yoko
lured me in, but I probably put, I think, $50 worth of microtransactions into that game.
Holy cow.
Yeah, into a game that's not even that fun to begin with. But I needed to get, you get those grind walls, gosh darn it, and you want to see the next piece of the interesting story.
Mm.
But that I feel embarrassed about, because like the game's about to shut down permanently, and I'm not going to get to the end of it. So like, what did I spend that money on?
You can always YouTube it, man.
I know, but it makes you feel like, why did I spend the money if I'm not? It's just these games, they try to get you at every angle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have bought Fortnite skins, but I don't actually feel embarrassed about those because I played the game for free.
Yeah.
Right.
I played it for dozens of hours. So $15 for a Harley Quinn skin is a bit much, but I've paid $0 to play all of this game anyway. So it's a little of that tip jar mentality.
That was kind of how I felt about Rocket League, because if you remember, Rocket League was free when it first released, and then
PlayStation Plus,
then they sold it, and then I think it's free again.
Yeah, it was free to PlayStation Plus members, and then it cost money, and now it's, I think, actually like a free to play game, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I really wanted the DeLorean, Back to the Future DeLorean, and I paid the $3 or whatever to have that, and that's the only car I rocked whenever I played that game. So I don't know if I should be ashamed of that one, because I like it. It's cool when I burn out and the out of time license plate spins where my car was a second ago. I love that. It's perfect. So
never be ashamed about the DeLorean.
You what?
Never be ashamed about the DeLorean.
No way.
Yeah, I think I got the. Did they do Mad Max DLC for Rocket League?
They've done so much.
Yeah.
I think they did A-Team. Like, you can get the A-Team.
They did Knight Rider, I believe.
Yeah, Knight Rider was in there.
Yeah, I think I did do the Mad Max one, or it had like some DLC that looked like Mad Max or something like that, and that was enough for me. But anyway, so I understand that. But something that is, I guess, more embarrassing is, so what you were talking about, Scott, a single player game where it doesn't matter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But every Tomb Raider game, I've bought every DLC skin they've done.
Really?
Yeah, I need every outfit for Lara. I need to dress her up however I want.
But I'm okay with that, man, because of your love for the franchise.
No, and I appreciate you giving me a pass, but I'm not giving myself a pass, because I think in the 2013 one, they were only 99 cents a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not a big deal. But then I think with Rise of Tomb Raider on Xbox One, I think it was like $2.99 an outfit, which was a little much, but they looked really cool. She's like wearing skulls and stuff. It's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
But then by Shadow of the Tomb Raider, they were like $5 or $6 a pop, but I had to get them, guys. I'm sorry.
It's worth it for the eye candy.
Yeah, it's Lara. I love her to death. And those costumes aren't even like sexy. They're usually just kind of cool or different or inspired by some movie. And not to say I wouldn't buy a sexy costume, of course, but Crystal Dynamics has moved beyond. They're better people than me in that regard. But and you know what? I guess I can give myself a little pass to Shadow Tomb Raider because I got review code. Okay, so I didn't even pay for that game anyway, and it came with a season pass. The code. So I was just trying to spend my money to make sure it was a fair and unbiased review.
There you go.
That's all. Yeah. So I did it for you guys.
You couldn't do like the Mark Szymanski thing and just like buy a copy for somebody else in the community, to support the developer.
Okay. Wow. All right. Never mind. Now I feel even more embarrassed than I did before.
He's getting you back for the Undermine thing.
Yeah, it's coming back. I knew it would. Shadow the Tomb Raider costs a little bit more than the game Mark Szymanski has given.
That's true. It was a full $60 game, and I can't remember what It was the it was a Limbo clone. I can't remember what the name of the game was. Unleaving, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he loved that game. I need to check that one out too. But I think I'm gonna do that with Mini Shoot Adventures. I'm gonna buy somebody a copy of that game because I need to play that game. I'll send you a Steam code, Zach. How about that?
That'd be really useful. Thank you so much. I can't wait. One day when I get my Steam account, the code will be ready for me.
It'll just be sitting there.
My Steam account is still on the laptop you're on right now. I'll bet you that game would run that game.
Maybe.
You just gotta get a controller hooked up to it because I can't imagine playing that game with a keyboard
or a touchpad.
Yeah, that'd be miserable. But anyway, that's what we thought about the topic. Let's see what our community did. We're gonna start over on Facebook. Brandon Smith, good old Brandon Smith, said, "I spent $300 on extra songs for Rock Band on day one."
Day one.
He spent $300. Michael Bonovich followed up that.
That's not a cheap game to get into either.
Right. It was like an $80 or $90 game with a guitar peripheral, or if you bought the whole band set.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
with the drums and the microphone. Yeah.
If Brandon's buying $300 worth of songs, he's definitely buying the full band kit.
Yeah. So he probably spent over $500 that weekend on Rock Band.
Yeah.
Michael Bonovich followed up with a comment that says, "I probably spent that much over time. I had 400 plus songs by the time Rock Band 3 came out." Man, remember how big the plastic guitar generation was?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was major.
I loved it.
It probably could come back if they didn't. They try too soon, right? With Guitar Hero Live and Rock Band 4.
Well, in the last
all the time, he's like, "Is that Guitar Hero game still out?" Because we used to play it together. I'm like, "No." He's like, "Darn it."
Well, they tried to bring it back, but they changed the button layouts, and it was just way too confusing. I did not like that version of it.
I think that might have even still worked if they waited a few more years. But
I think so too. Yeah. For me, I can kind of relate to this because I did the same thing with pinball. How much money do you guys think I've spent in Pinball FX? Like, there's 100 tables, and they're on average $3 a piece. So I've spent easily over $300 on pinball tables.
Yeah.
So
well, no regrets though, right? You get your value out of that $3 pop though.
For most of them, there's some tables that I've bought and played a couple times and never went back to, just to because
how could you have known? And you're in this deep.
Yeah, it's like I'm pot committed at this point.
Yeah, it's a sunk cost fallacy. You can't not buy the next table.
Right. Alyssa, you want to take the next one?
Sure. Sean Coates writes in, "This isn't a DLC purchase per se, but I did drop $5 once on The Sims Social. Yes, that's right, The Sims Social. That short-lived Facebook version, just so I could redecorate my house into a Japanese theme. I also bought 3 versions of Terminator Resistance."
He did. He posted a picture on Facebook of like all 3 different copies of that game that he has, like different platforms. He really likes Terminator Resistance.
Dude, there's no need to get embarrassed about that. I've bought other versions of games I loved before.
The Sims?
Yeah, that one you might want to be a little more embarrassed about. I can't defend you there, Sean. But I buy every version of Terminator Resistance you want. Buy digital versions. Get every version you can. It's your library is incomplete until you have it on every format available.
I still haven't played that game.
I played what I played of it was a lot of fun.
I put it on my my Amazon wish list just because I'm like, someday I'm gonna get. I don't know if I'm gonna like it because I know Sean loved the RoboCop game way more than I did. Like, I liked it, but I wouldn't it wouldn't have been my favorite game of the year by far. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just worried I'm gonna feel the same way about Terminator. But I've heard a lot of positive things about that one too. So I'm not sure.
Well, the post-apocalyptic stuff is my favorite aspect of the Terminator, where the machines win. So it was a cool game, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Tim, jumping over to Discord, Tim Pollin writes, "The Far Cry 6 Season Pass, mostly roguelike missions. That's not what I want in a shooty shoot."
Which, in Discord, I think it was Caramel Bear, I could be wrong, said, "No, it's a shooty bang bang," and someone said that was CB's. That is not CB's phrase.
No.
That was my phrase, but CB repeated it multiple times in that episode. I had to say that. He doesn't get credit for that.
All right, good, Alyssa.
He could share it.
Yeah.
I will share it, but I came up with shooty shooty bang bang.
All right. I respect your authority here.
That's good. Yeah, Far Cry Season Pass. I already talked about that one, right? And here's what's funny is I bought the same Season Pass, Tim. I didn't even know that they were roguelike missions in that game. So
Yeah.
I should be more embarrassed than you because at least you knew what they were, man. We got one more from Bill Gardner. He says, any Season Pass. I used to buy most of them and never touch the content when it's released. Now I rarely buy a DLC. Elden Ring is one of my all-time favorite games, and I'm not sure I'll buy it or not because usually I just don't go back to single-player games. I actually relate to that a little bit. Like sometimes when a DLC comes out for a game that I loved, it's been so long, I've played so many games between there, I don't want to relearn the game. What was the one we were just talking about? In the Fallout, I feel like I could jump back in like a bike. What was the one you said it would be like? Oh, Vampire Survivors. I'm reluctant to jump into the DLC for a game where you don't even press any buttons.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
That's crazy, right? Like it should just be like jumping in no problem. But there's a thing where if I haven't been inundated with it, and it's a catch-22, because like I mentioned with Rebirth, I have to get through that game. I have to play nothing but that game until it's finished. Because if I step away from it, I'm gonna never go back to it. I'm gonna give up on it, and I did not want to do that with Rebirth. Which makes it sound like I didn't like the game. I like the game, but I'm very easily distracted by something else new and shiny. And I didn't want to be distracted. So, yeah. Interesting take. That was a fun topic, Zach. Thank you. And yes, I'm giving you credit once again for coming up with the topic idea.
Also, quick advice to Bill Gardner. Just think of Shadow of the Erdtree as a sequel. Trick your mind into thinking it's like Elden Ring 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be that long?
I think it's supposed to be quite like 20 hours or something like that.
Yeah. What were
that's a lengthy DLC.
That is a video game's length.
I did not put this on the format for you guys, but do you have like a favorite piece of DLC and like on the spot? Go ahead.
I really enjoyed the Last of Us Left Behind DLC. That was one that I bought not knowing what I knew it was story content, but I didn't know what it was going to be about, and thoroughly impressed me.
Was that DLC or was that standalone? I don't remember.
Can't remember if you had. I think you had to have had the game, but I'm not sure if you had to have played it at that point. So I can't remember, but I'd already played the game and then played that, and just wonderful. Loved it.
Mine is kind of similar because I think mine was standalone as well, but the Far Cry. Oh man, what was it called? It was something Dragon.
Yeah, Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
That should have been a DLC, right? I mean, it was the same engine. They just made a small, bite-sized little game, and it was great. It was all 80s neon. I loved that game. I love it. I should go back to that.
Well, I guess another standalone would be Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare.
Yeah.
Very fun DLC. But if a DLC that requires the base game, Bloodborne: The Old Hunters is exceptional.
Okay.
Perhaps the best part of Bloodborne itself.
Another one I need to add. I need to at some point get to.
Oh, don't lie to yourself.
I'm so scared of that game, man. I'm so scared.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, I'm scared of most Souls games, but I really loved Bloodborne. Like, it was more accessible to me than the Souls games were for some reason.
I've heard that a lot, but I've heard that Elden Ring is even more accessible, and that's really what I should do. I should just jump back into that, but I'm just too busy playing new games.
Don't play any. Why? There's plenty of other games you love that you need to catch up on that you're more interested in.
Or I want to replay. Like, I want to go back and play some more Fallout. This is Fallout week, man.
Right.
Anyway, next week's topic is not Zach's idea. I want to talk, and I don't think we did this topic, so remind me if I'm wrong. I can change it if we haven't. But there's a news story in this week about game preservation and whatnot that brought up pirating. And we talked about pirating a little bit on the DLC podcast. And I could not find that we ever did this as a topic. So I want to talk about pirating games, how we feel about it. I want to talk about the ethics. Is it for game preservation? Is it for because we want to play free games? We will talk about that next week. So stay tuned for the socials for a link where you can actually post a comment and we might read it on next week's episode. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. The show was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website, as always, is stemagemusic.com. And again, He'll be performing live at R2V2 2024 in October. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, do you have any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Did I talk about Reacher last week?
I don't think you talked about it last week. I could have sworn you talked about it in the past.
Yeah, well, I started season 2.
Oh yeah,
and the show continues to be excellent. This is why I don't normally have Amazon Prime, but with the Fallout show coming out, and I figured we were going to talk about it here. It was a perfect excuse to get Amazon Prime again. But really, I wanted to watch Reacher. This show's so fun.
Yeah.
Just a big dude beating people up a lot of the times. But the big dude happens to be smart, so that's nice. He's not just he's like a military Sherlock Holmes. But it's really just, he's doing what you wish we could all do. He sees somebody abusing a dog, and he just beats the crap out of him.
Nice.
As one should.
We all wish we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he's living out our fantasies.
Very cool.
Of righting society's wrongs. And what a dream this guy lives, where he just lives off his army pension, just drifts from town to town, doesn't actually have a house or a phone. Just wandering America. I'm like, dude, that sounds sweet.
I've heard nothing but good about that show, and I just never get around to it.
Same here.
Once I finish Fallout and the show I'm going to talk about, maybe I'll get up on that.
I think you guys should check it out.
Alyssa, how about you?
Of course, mine is a Korean recommendation. I hesitate to call it a K-drama, even though it is categorized as one because it's much more of a horror sci-fi show. But Parasite the Grey on Netflix is amazing. I was very nervous about it, to be honest, because Parasite the Maxim is one of my all-time favorite anime series. I love that series so much. And I was nervous about a live-action version, which this is obviously Korea's take on it. That was Japan's take, which it is based off a manga. But this is a new character. It takes place at the same time as Parasite the Maxim, but it is, again, set in Korea, new character. I was surprised at how well the special effects actually looked. I was nervous about that part as well, because this does involve body horror. Very well done. Very well done. Only 6 episodes. I think the longest episode is an hour, and the rest are 40 to 50 minutes. So, super easy to watch in a couple days' time, or a day if you wanted to. You do not need to have prior knowledge of this universe, but if you do, you get some fun little treats. But again, like, if you're just looking for a good sci-fi horror show, and you don't mind some gore and body horror, this is really, really fun. There is an English dub if you don't want to read subtitles, but again, the Korean with subtitles is the way to go with this, obviously. But some people need a dub, which has available. I hope there's a second season. That's all I can say. But yeah, my nerves about this show quickly went away as soon as I started the first episode. It's excellent.
Very cool. I got 2 quick ones. I'm going to get on my old band soapbox for a minute, but I feel kind of guilty saying this, but I'm going to say something, and I do not mean this to come across as holier than thou. Okay? That's not what I'm saying here. But I'm going to recommend everybody. I know it's April, it's Earth Day month, and at this time of year, my wife and I always go out to the road across, about a quarter of a mile down the street from me. And we just go along the side of the road and we take some garbage bags and we pick up all the litter that is strewn about there. I am shocked. Dude, in an hour, we picked up 3 huge contractor bags of stuff. Right. I mean, just like, I do not understand it. It is not that convenient to throw something out the window as it is to put it in a bag in your car and put it in the trash. It's just
also why not treat our shared space with respect?
That's what I'm saying. It's just insane the amount. Like, we literally don't have room in the trash cans. I have to put 1 bag each week in the trash can for the garbage man to come pick it up. It's just gross and disgusting. So 2-parter in that, like, if you get a minute, maybe spend an hour and go clean up the side of the road near your house. If we all did that, think of all the trash and stuff.
Imagine if we all just didn't litter.
that's the second part is like just don't throw it out your window. I just truly don't understand how, like, you have to really like do it out of spite.
Right, because wherever you're going has a trash can.
Right. Or, just put a Walmart bag in your car and put it in there and empty that out there. I get a little bag I put around the headrest of my car that I put trash in, and then I empty it out. Like, it's not hard.
I guess I just hadn't thought of it. There really is no reason to do it other than to be evil.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there is no plus to it.
And we did the same thing last year. So we're actually doing the exact same spot that we had, and within an hour we still had 3 massive things of garbage
in only a year's time.
And understand, I'm not like a bunny hugger. I'm not like a conservationist. Like, I'm not one of those. I know people get angry if you talk about doing things nice for the planet, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
But like, it's not hard if we all just like cared. Anyway,
right.
On a more positive note, you guys are gonna laugh at me probably so hard, but I started watching a show that I did not watch when I was a kid, and I've always wanted to, and I just decided I was gonna do it.
The Magic School Bus.
No. Boy Meets World.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna laugh at you.
So a little Corey and Topanga?
Dude,
yeah.
I'm only in the second season, but this is the shot.
You've watched an entire season of this?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Just watch it when I'm going to bed. They're like 20-minute episodes.
Yeah, of course.
They're like,
the good old sitcom days,
dude.
brother.
Yeah.
And it's so cheesy. I didn't realize it because I used to make fun of my wife for watching this other show, and I realized that Boy Meets World is the boy version of Full House. Like,
okay,
straight up is Full House, but everything is positive, and I think the reason that I'm gravitating so much to it is there's a teacher character, Mr. Feeney, right?
Oh yeah,
and
I love Mr. Feeney.
And even though Corey is like the troublemaker kid, he's the pain in the butt to Mr. Feeney, but there's still a mutual respect that I just don't see with the pain in the butt kids in my classroom. And so there's something that, like,
also, if Corey did something wrong in class, his parents would be upset about it,
right,
instead of blaming the teacher in the school system.
Exactly. But the show is cheesy. Yes, I still feel like you're getting some life lessons. The relationship between Corey and his parents and his brother, it's almost too sweet to the point where you wouldn't, like, it's not believable by today's standards. There's no way families are like this or ever were like this. But I don't care. It gives me hope that there are people out there that are respecting older people, and they're respecting each other, and they're respecting their parents. And I really enjoy the interactions between. I just love the characters. It's just a feel good, cheesy comedy. I recommend going and giving it a shot if you need to smile.
Dude, my mom loves that show. I've probably, just through osmosis, I've probably seen most of that show because she's had to have watched the whole thing 20 times.
Oh wow!
Like, loves that show.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it all the time when I was a kid. Whenever it'd be on, was it Disney?
It's on Disney now.
Remember.
Disney and Hulu, I think. No.
Well, when it was on cable, every time it come on, even if it's a rerun, I'd always watch every single episode that I would come across. Like, I loved that show as a kid.
I'm 44 years old, and I still just really like the show. The funny thing is that obviously, never having watched it, I wasn't allowed to watch this show. Just to give you an idea of my childhood, this show was bad.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
it's gotta be one of the cleanest shows that ever lived.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So what were you allowed to watch?
Movies, nothing over a G rating.
What about TV though? Like, could you watch
Matlock?
What's the Mayberry show?
Yeah, Andy Griffith show.
Andy Griffith. Could you watch the Andy Griffith show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know if that was too hard.
But I remember my principal at my private school giving a lecture on how that show was bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, so the thing that kind of threw me for a loop is I was not expecting Topanga to be like the nerdy, nobody likes her character in the first season. Because I always thought Topanga was like the hot, everybody wanted to date her kind of thing. I discovered the show when I was older, and I was like, oh yeah, everybody knows who Topanga is. But no, she was like this, like, aura-filled, putting lipstick on her face character. And I was just shocked that, like, everyone just thought she was a nerd and nobody liked her until she put on a bathing suit. And then all of a sudden the boys were like, oh.
Oh, it's like not another teen movie where they just take off her glasses and all of a sudden she's super hot.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really funny. There was a line in the first episode of the second season where they come back from summer vacation and Topanga has grown up a little.
Oh yeah.
And one of the boys, Eric?
Yeah, Corey's friend,
his best friend.
Yeah, Eric, yeah.
He had put on fake sideburns to be cool for their first day of school. And they see Topanga and she's like, "Wow, you changed this summer." And she's like, "Yeah, but unlike you, I actually grew mine." I thought it was really funny. Hey, boy, that was a long tangent, but yeah, Boy Meets World. It's on Disney. That's where I'm watching it. I can't remember. It's on another platform. I can't remember if it's Hulu or not. I want to say it's Hulu because those are the same, right? Hulu and Disney.
Yeah, Disney owns Hulu. Yeah.
So, yeah, just heartwarming TV. Sometimes I don't even watch it. I just put it on my phone and listen to it on an earbud while I'm doing work. Because you don't really need to see much in that show. There's a couple.
Sure, it's the same sets every episode.
Yeah. It feels like the Full House. Honestly, it really does.
Maybe.
Oh, and the sister, the little sister Morgan, is adorable. Her lines are pretty funny. So anyway, I could talk about that forever. But let's go on. Zach, great to see you as always. Alyssa, thanks for being here. I will not be here next week.
But it's not great to see you. But thanks for being here.
I appreciate that. Appreciate the honesty. Well, hey.
Well, I like seeing you. Scott.
No, that's what you said to Alyssa. You said, "Alyssa, thanks." You said, "Zach, great seeing you." Alyssa, thanks for being here.
Oh my goodness!
The implication being it's not great to see her, though you are thankful she's here.
Well, I didn't catch that, so now I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry.
Now I'm taking it.
Oh my goodness!
I was using my English skills from school.
I gotta go write a review that Zach won't remember I played the game in a couple years.
Oh, now I see what you're doing now. I'm sorry, man. I'm thinking about this all week. I apologize.
I'm totally messing with you. I'm really not bothered. But in all seriousness, I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to be out of town. So it will be Zach, Alyssa, and CB without me. So you guys are going to run the show. But stick around next week. Until then, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.